So recently I had lunch with a friend and he asked me how was my business doing. And I thought of my main business and I said it was fine. But then I thought about one of my other businesses that's really not fine. Really struggling, really like hitting a ceiling and I don't know what to do. And then he just gave me ideas, just like this. Off the top of his head, he's just like, have you tried this? Have you tried this? And he's like, I was sitting there thinking, I have to take notes because this is brilliant. So that night I was lying in bed thinking, how can we bring this to the public? Imagine if you have 100,000 people giving input in your business. And there is where this idea was born of Oppimap. Oppimap is Afrikaans en Engels, dis vir almal, dis vir Suid-Afrika, dit is vir ons grondgebied, want ons is in Suid-Afrika moet entrepreneurs oprig. Ons moet mense lei. Ons kan nie wag vir werk om te kom nie. Werk gaan nie na jou kant toe kom nie. Jy moet werk skep. En partykeer is dit so belangrik om iemand te hê wat net van die buitekant af inkyk en vir jou sê, luister, hoekom het jy nie al hierdie gedoen nie? Het jy hierdie goed in plek? Het jy al daaraan gedink? En dan skielik begin dit net goed losmaak in jou en dink, oh my word, en dit lei tot dit en dit lei tot dit en voor jy jouself kan kry het jy 'n suksesvolle besigheid. So hier is ons, Oppimap. Ons is 'n groep besigheidseienaars bymekaar wat praat oor hoe om besigheid te doen en wat ons in plek moet hê. Ons praat oor my besigheid, maar dit is van toepassing op joune, want almal het dieselfde goed nodig om bemarking te doen. Almal het dieselfde goed nodig om sales te kan maak. Ons het die goed nodig wat in plek moet wees en hierdie gaan alles vir jou gee. So hierdie is waar jy betrokke raak. Deur die loop van hierdie sessie, né, moet jy asseblief neerskryf jou idees. As iets by jou klik en sê, "Oh my goodness, hoekom doen hulle dit nie? Hoekom het hulle nog nie daai mense gaan sien nie? Hoekom het hulle nog nie gepraat met die hoofde van skole nie? Wat ook al die geval mag wees." Skryf dit neer want ons wil jou idees hê aan die einde van die sessie en dan gaan jy die kans staan om 'n R100,000 se kursusse te wen, waarvan die hoof een is 'n Joseph Business School course that teaches you biblical business from the Bible. It's worth almost R60,000. It's amazing. It will change your life and your business forever. So stay glued in and strapped in and get involved and you will see this change in your business as well. So listen to what we're saying and as the thoughts come to your mind, write it down because we're going to show you a way to submit your ideas, maybe a business plan, maybe a marketing plan, maybe another strategy, and we are going to give this to the public to vote on. And if your ideas are the best, then you are the winner of our competition. So stay tuned, take your pen, write it down. See you on the other side. So hallo en welkom aan julle oulike mense. We're gonna gooi Afrikaans and English. So this is I'm gonna quickly explain why we are here today. Julle kan sê hallo. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Aletté. Hello.
Hallo, Aletté.
Hello everybody. This is Janine Fourie.
Hallo julle.
Vertel ons gou wie is jy? Wat doen jy?
Ek is Janine of Janine, hang af wanneer jy my leer ken het in jou lewe. Ek's 'n span franchisee en 'n entrepreneur. 'n gekwalifiseerde chartered accountant, maar ja, lieve besigheid en dis hoekom ek hier by jou sit.
En 'n mamma en
'n mamma. Ja, dis waar, en 'n vrou, dis korrek.
Margriet. Nie baie bekendstelling nodig nie.
Nee, weet jy wat, ek is ook 'n mamma van 2 kinders en ek het 3 stiefkinders wat baie lekker is.
Wow.
Amazing. Ja, my een dogter werk nou, ons dogter werk nou vir ons. Maar wat ek doen vir 'n lewe is ek help besighede om meer geld te maak.
Prys die Here.
Ja. Deur middel van om bemarkingstegnieke wat so oud is as die berge te koppel met technology.
Awesome.
Want as mens daai twee goed het, dan het jy 'n winning combination. So what technology can give you that? So
Wow.
ja, en dit sluit natuurlik in social media, dit sluit al die online tools in.
Wow, dis awesome. Baie welkom. Gawie.
Nou, Aletté, ek probeer nog uitfigure hoekom ek hier is, maar jy het gesê ek mag my sê nou, né?
Ja.
Nou, ek is Gawie Lange. Ek is hierso want sy help ons om geld te maak.
Okay, good.
Ons besit die Joy in die magazine en die juig tydskrif, Joy Trail, en ons het 'n paar ander besighede wat ons op die kant hardloop.
Awesome. So, ek is Aletté. Hallo Aletté. En ek is ook 'n entrepreneur.
Welkom.
En ons is hier vandag omdat ons saam met hulle geëet het onlangs. Nou weet hulle ons is vriende gewees,
Sorry,
jammer. Ja, jammer daaroor. En toe ons net by die tafel sit, toe sê Gawie vir my, hoe gaan dit met jou besigheid, Aletté? En dadelik gaan ek in my kop na my hoofbesigheid toe wat SA Image Academy is en dit gaan goed en dit gaan aan en toe ek nee, letterlik like Holy Spirit inspired. Kom ons praat oor die een wat sukkel. En want ek het 'n paar en alles is connected op 'n manier. En hierdie is my jongste baba en dis nou tyd dat hierdie babatjie moet begin loop want hy kruip nou al vir 3 jaar en dit is natuurlik. So toe sê ek vir hom my een besigheid sukkel 'n bietjie. En toe sê hy wat is die situasie en ek verduidelik vir hom wat ek nou vir julle almal gaan verduidelik. En toe het Gawie soveel amazing, sommer in 'n oomblik het hy soveel amazing idees gedrop wat ek dadelik gedink het, oh my goodness, ja, hoekom het ek nog nie daaraan gedink nie, hoekom het ek nog nie daaraan gedink nie. En die aand toe lê ek in die bed, toe dink ek, toe begin hierdie gedagte broei in my kop en in my hart, want toe weet ek daar is soveel ander entrepreneurs daar buite wat sukkel. En toe ek met jou daaroor praat, toe was jou woorde aan my, partykeer is ons so betrokke, jy's so in dit, jy kan nie, ek kyk so vas in die issues en die uitdagings, dat dit baie moeilik is om actually deur te breek, en dan het jy net 'n ander oog en 'n perspektief nodig, om net 'n bietjie te sê, luister, het jy al daaraan gedink, so hierdie program, of hierdie episode wat ons opneem, is regtig daar om almal te help. En ek glo, julle is almal eintlik hier vir my, julle is baie oulik, maar ons almal gaan soveel waarde daaruit vind, want partykeer het 'n mens net daai buite opinietjie nodig om te sê, luister, het jy al gedink om met daai persoon te praat of het jy al dit geïmplementeer? En ek weet ek gaan baie oor die vingers getik word deur jou vandag oor wat ek nog nie geïmplementeer het nie en dan gaan ek sê, hoekom sukkel jy? Hoekom dink jy sukkel jy want jy het nog nie baie huiswerk gedoen nie. Maar dit is hoekom ons spesialiste in hulle velde en verskillende velde bymekaar wil bring, want ons is nie almal in dieselfde veld nie. But we can learn from one another en dit is die hart van wat ons hier doen. En ons hart is vir die kyker daar buite ook om te sê, oh my goodness, even al het hulle niks met hierdie uit te waai nie, waarmee ons besig is nie, daar's sekere principles wat vir almal geld, wat ons in plek moet kry. En ek glo regtig ook, ek het 'n gesprek gehad onlangs met iemand wat sê die toekoms is by entrepreneurs. Ons moet kan werk skep. Ons kan nie meer ons handjie opsit en sê, pick me nie. We are going to be in the business of creating work. So, net 'n agtergrond oor hoekom ons hier is. Dankie weer eens vir julle elkeen se tyd. Julle is baie gaaf. So, let's jump in die besigheid. Die besigheid wat ons bietjie moet help.
Ja. Vandag net daarby las wat jy nou sê, ek gaan jou oor die vingerstuk.
Ja.
So ek dink wat belangrik is om te verstaan, is dis nie noodwendig wat jy nog nie gedoen het nie. Dis om te verstaan en jy sal saamstem, 'n besigheid sonder sisteme gaan nooit suksesvol wees nie.
Ja.
Nee, ek meen julle besigheid ran 100% op sisteme.
Jy het nie al die sisteme van die begin af nie,
maar jy kan nie dit alles op een nie, maar ek dink die challenge is om te verstaan okay, wat se sisteme moet geïmplementeer word. Want anders as jy weet, jy moet al hierdie goed doen, jy weet nie eintlik hoekom nie. So dis meer om uit te figure, okay, wat is die sisteme wat geld gaan inbring? Outomaties, jy weet. En dan kyk, en dan dit vat jare om sisteme te implementeer, maar ten minste kan jy stappies en weet, okay, hierdie sisteme is geïmplementeer. Ja.
So wil jy vir my sê dit gaan nog jare vat voor.
Nee, dis nie wat ek wil sê nie. Wat ek
quick wins. Quick wins.
Wat ek daarmee bedoel is, mens dink altyd jy is nog nie waar jy wil wees nie. Maar ek dink net as mens verstaan wat se sisteme, so mens begin wat se sisteme gaan nou werk, maar mens upgrade mos altyd jou sisteme. Ek meen julle dit is soos, ek dink dis wat baie entrepreneurs mis, is sisteme. As jy nie sisteme in jou besigheid het nie, dan kan jy dit amper nie 'n besigheid noem nie. En want julle besigheid ran 100% op sisteme.
Ek wens ek kon so sê.
Maar
daar is baie sisteme. Ja,
dit is sisteme vir elke liewe ding. So
ek dink voor jy by daai sisteme uitkom, moet jy seker maak dat wat jy in die mark sit, daai value proposition has to be there. As jy sisteme bou boop iets wat daar nie 'n solid fondasie is nie, is jy ook besig met tyd om mors. En ek dink baie keer is entrepreneurs conflicted, waar fokus ek? Is ek besig om nog 'n value proposition te bou of weet ek nou wat ek verkoop? En dan bou ek my sisteme daarop bo-op, want baie keer werk mense ook al verkeerd om hulle begin met al die lofty ideas van al die sisteme, but there's nothing substantial to sell. En as jy niks om te verkoop nie, dan kos daai net geld op die ouende.
So daai is waar ons is. Ons het something amazing to sell, but we don't have the systems in place.
Maar ek dink dit is ook belangrik, twee goed. Een, ek weet ek sit nou hierso en ek ek sit nou hier so en ek probeer iets seker by value gee. Maar ons kan nie hierdie gesprek hê as dit net is oor sisteme en oor besigheid en waar ons wil by uitkom sonder dat ons weet hoekom ons dit doen nie. Eerstens en tweedens dat is sonder die Here se invloed gaan dit in elk geval nie werk nie. So wat ons ook al hier gaan bou sal ons help. Maar ek het 'n gesprek, ek dink ek het jou gesê gister met 'n dame wat ook 'n besigheid begin. En sy het klomp idees. En ek het vir haar gesê, maar kom ons skryf die idees neer. Okay, so voordat ons enigiets kan doen, skryf die idees neer en dan is daar twee soorte mense. Die mense wat daarna gaan kyk en sê, "Ja, dis 'n goeie besigheid." Of ouens wat dit begin doen. Een van my mentors, my skoonma, Erin.
Wow, daai wil jy nie baie nie.
Dis nou so weet ek sommer. Anyway, een van my mentors, my skoonma. Sy sê altyd, ek gaan dit in Grieks sê want sy sê dit nie ek nie. Sy is Grieks. Maar so wat sy altyd vir my sê is jy het ouens wat dit doen en dan foute maak en jy het ouens wat dit nooit doen nie. So don't be scared to do it.
Ja.
So dit kan moeilik op papier. So ons kan al hierdie goed vandag sit en ons kan 3 ure van ons tyd gee en ek het nou 'n grap gemaak met van Grieke sê sy's baie duur, so haar 3 ure is duur. Sy's nie so duur nie. So hoekom weet jy waar's my pryse?
Daai is 'n goeie begin.
Ja. Ek voel of ek met my skoonma praat. Maar ons kan daai goed sien en ons kan vandag al daai goeie planne hê, maar as ons as jy dit nie gaan implementeer nie, jy het nie die ouens wat jou help om dit implementeer nie, dan sit net daai goed. Soos daai bord wat daar mooi geskryf
Aletté se
staan.
probleem is nie om te begin nie.
Dit is die waarheid.
Let's flesh it out. Want jy het klaar begin.
Dis waar.
Kom ons kyk vir die value proposition of die stelsel of what is it?
So,
Waar is ons?
ek gaan by die begin en ek gaan dit so vinnig as moontlik probeer verduidelik. I think I'm going to speak in English now because the English people are
Sorry.
Can we start with the why?
the why.
The why slots into the
how.
Wow.
The
Ja.
how probably first. So, I obviously have an image academy. My whole career basically built on image, on uplifting women, empowering women, not just the outside, but the inside, because I'm very passionate about the inside. And then I had the opportunity to actually purchase my academy, the academy that trained me, and then so I started training image consultants, which is quite cool. And I actually had a conversation with one of my colleagues one day. My baby was still, my baby girl was still a baby. And we had 2 of my youngsters that worked for me come in the office very excited about working with young girls. They're like, that is their dream. They can't wait to work with young girls. And they left the office and I said to my colleague, I can't think of anything worse. That was literally the words that left my mouth. Not knowing what God intended for me. And I think it was because my girl was still small and I was just not, I worked with women. I said, I've got women down. I know what to tell a woman. I don't know what to tell a girl. And I think probably not even a month later, I got a call from Andre van der Linde. And she said to me, she has this company, Girl School. I've heard about it. I knew she did it. And she said she has reached her capacity and she wants to sell it. And every time she thinks about it, I come to mind. And I'm driving in the car listening to this conversation and my mind is, I just said I don't want to work with girls. So my mind is already like, okay, I know I have a network of women in my consultants. I'm thinking of that one and that one and that one. And I'm thinking that's why she's getting to me actually to pass it on to somebody else. And I said to her, okay, so why don't you franchise it? We want to reach as many girls as possible. And the reason she wanted to sell was because she was a one-woman show and she only had so many weekends available. She wanted to be more involved in her kids' lives. And she said, I don't have the capacity. You have a team of women, so that's why she's thinking of me. So I said to her, okay, let me think of who is it going to be. And when I put the phone down, I literally felt in my spirit, God said, it's you now. And I'm like, no. And I spoke to my brother, who's my business partner, and I said to him, listen, this came my way. And we started speaking to her and we got the numbers and we got the potential and something in me birthed. And I suddenly started getting a passion for girls, especially when I went through the training and I actually saw what they learn. Margriet, I was sitting here. Your mother-in-law, speaking of mothers-in-law, was also here. Because Janine was actually one of our franchisees. And I sat here thinking, I have done so much image consulting training. I've been to international conferences. I have been, the ins and outs. And I thought, if I learned what they learn at the age of 7 and 8 and 9, where would I have been in my life? I I can't imagine. So I started seeing what is the content that is involved in the training, in the courses that they present. And whereas I think there's a lot of people that might think it's just finishing an etiquette, which is definitely included, but we have changed it over to a confidence building leadership development course where we literally influence little girls from the age of 7 to become who they were created to be, to know who they are, to have identity, Javi, you and I have long conversations about the service industry in this country.
Yeah. Which,
And
by the way, we're going to change.
We are going to change it. And we want to raise up the future employee of tomorrow, and they know who they are, they know what is the right thing to do, how to act under any circumstances, giving them confidence. And we've changed things around.
Or employer.
Or employer, actually, that's the dream. That is the dream. And we've changed things around to meet to specific age groups more pertinently. And we have developed something crazy. And we did create franchisees. We immediately said, okay, listen, guys, who wants to buy in? And we immediately had a bunch of ladies say, I want to get involved. I want to change girls' lives. I want to have that influence. Because you know how it is at home when your mom says something, it's like la la la, and then your kid comes home, oh, my juffrou het gesê. Oh my word, presies wat jou ma net gesê het, en ek sê, oh my word. And that is what it is.
Can you guys do it for wives too? Because I say something to Aletté het gesê. En dan seker ek het gesê.
It is always like that. Yeah. It is always like that. So we have an open door in a little girl's life to have an influence, a godly influence, and it's building her character, giving her confidence, telling her to love her body from a young age. Like it's such a wide variety of things that we teach them, but to be life ready when they leave school. Like, I can face the world. I know what to do under any circumstances, standing up against bullies, standing up for myself, being a great friend, being a great guest, being a great hostess. Everything is included.
Who would not want that for a child?
That is my flippin' vraag.
I'll tell you, Bisal, hoekom nie.
Ja.
Of nie, ek wil nie sê hoekom nie, but with that question,
Ja.
I think one of the challenges, you're on a territory where parents see that as their job. So I'm going to train my child to be life savvy. Yeah. So now I have to send my child to Aletté. Does that now mean I failed as a parent?
Yeah, wow.
I think there's a little bit of a conflict. So, but at the same time, if I send my kid for tennis lessons, I don't take offense that I can't play tennis.
Yeah.
So
not every parent is trained in this, and parents don't have time. I don't know about you, but we have like 3 evenings when we are everybody at home at the same time and actually can do dinner. Then it's like, how was your day? I don't have the time to now educate you and teach you about etiquette, and that is not acceptable behavior. Do not do that. Do not say that. Do not. So it is actually such a great opportunity.
It's almost like it's a life coach for your child at that age.
Presies dit.
That is a brilliant angle.
Daai is 'n brilliant draai. Okay, baie julle, dankie. Ons het nog gekry.
Ek vra net, dan moet iemand notas. Ons gaan dit vergeet.
Ek is nooit die sekretaresse in die game nie, maar jy gaan.
Well done.
That life coach means you're coming alongside the parent and you're lightening the load. You're not saying tapping you over the fingers.
Yeah.
And I think when I was a franchisee, there was a lot of interest from parents who could see that they wanted to uplift their kids. They wanted them to operate at a higher level than maybe they got to achieve in life. But those parents didn't necessarily have the funding. So there was this mismatch between the need and who needs the funding. So that's maybe something to consider. And I know you're looking at sponsorships and that type of thing. But this should be for all parents in the sense of I'm partnering with you so that your child has the best chance to actually succeed in life.
Yeah.
The same way that a coach,
so let's just,
a
on that
tennis
point,
coach will help you.
Them not having the money. Actually, what I think is their money has to compete.
Yeah.
For different things.
Met
so
tennis.
is it really that they don't have the money, or is it that they don't understand the value, whereas have the value been explained to them in an offer?
Yeah.
Yes.
It comes down to that.
Yeah, it comes down to that. Because parents have money. I mean, look at the hockey sticks. Look at the, so the tours.
Like,
so yes, it's a competition to their pocket is only this big, and I have to decide, is it going to be hockey extra or this or this or that, or is it going to be life coaching? So it's about
Yes.
showing them the importance of this and the value of this going forward, because they understand the value of tennis lessons. Why do they give extra tennis lessons? Not necessarily to let the child play better, but what is the emotional outcome? To feel my child is succeeding, to feel I'm good.
To learn how to cope with pressure, to learn how to cope in a stressful situation.
And if you think about it, I just quickly want to say something. If you think about it, the amount of money spent on kids, on sport, that is literally 1% or 1% of them are going to do that for the rest of their lives. But why do parents do it? Because they think that is what's going to raise a successful child if my child's in the first team. So the thing is here.
Or they're vicariously living through their kids. I don't know.
But can it not be the other way around as well? Because while you're speaking, I'm thinking, why do parents? That's a pertinent question, very good question. Why do they do that? And if you think about it, if my child comes to me and say, listen, I want to have extra rugby lessons with Neil Powell, whoever the case may be, and it costs XYZ, and it's for 3 days. I'm going to do it because he asked me to it, and I actually want him to succeed. Okay, but that's nothing really to do with me living through or them. Yeah. It's got nothing to do with I want him to be the best rugby player.
No, there's something else.
Something else. Yeah. It's him coming to me saying, I want that. Can you do that? He just came to me and said, no, he's going on a Namibian tour. Okay, how much is it? And he told me, I'm like, do they give you a card? You come back and get a card. Anyway, are you sure you need it? And he's like, no, I really, really want to go. Okay, so now I'm going to make a plan. So that now supersede anything that I thought of it. So maybe there's something in that too. When we look at the value proposition, always trumps price. Always. Doesn't matter what business. Value proposition, if they can see it, they'll pay. They'll pay.
But that's the value proposition that they can see, not necessarily that you as a business owner think it is delivering.
Absolutely. So we need to see what is it, those motivational things, the emotional buying that they do, but then how do we also turn it around where you maybe give the child the experience and they then go back and go, I want to do that. So what you will do in the spa when there's a new product and you just give him a little happy and they go, yummy. Okay. Maybe there's something what we can do.
What if it could be like, at a lot of schools there's extramural activities and you get prizes or awards for those. And a lot of the times, I know there's a lot of kids that get awards for outside school things. Is that not, so for instance, voortrekkers or what if you move up the rank, is that not possible? What? It's not a school activity, but I think you get like badges and things, awards. Is that not, because what you're actually saying is the child needs to
incentivize the kid and they will then maybe go to the
maybe just to pull it back to the beginning of the conversation where we said there's a pool of funds. So it is true, parents do spend money. I think we must be vigilant that not all parents have the same amount of money to spend on a kid, but you have a pool of money. And that pool you have to decide as to how I'm going to spend it. At the moment, I think the courses, correct me, this is maybe, tell me, but it's 3-day courses.
Yeah, 3-day, and our heart is actually for the 15-week or 10-week course.
That's right.
Where it's an extramural activity that people have to set aside time and invest in the children.
I think some part of the value proposition is that this is a lasting impact. Your child goes there.
It's got eternal value.
But if you tell me my kid is going to be completely changed in 3 days, I'm going to go, good luck, Peter.
Well, there was a book, Have a New Husband by Friday. All the women bought it, so there's something in it. I'm just saying, have a new kid by Friday. But I think there's value in what you're saying because, again, I come back to what I just proposed, and maybe something we need to think of that you would know now with funnels, you create a landing page and you give something a free ebook if you do that or whatever. Maybe then a 1-day course at a school and they attend this and they go, oh my word, this is so amazing, and then go back to the parent to say, but I want to do the 10-week thing, and maybe that's how you create the momentum. Maybe something like that.
There's a advertising concept I want to explain to you, and it's actually something that was, I love old advertising stuff. It was, it was in this book, Breakthrough Advertising, and it's like, I don't know, it's in the 1960s or whatever.
Wow.
The 5 levels of awareness. Okay. So what does it mean? Is when you put a product in the market, how aware are people? Because what moves people to buy? It's either moving away from pain or moving towards pleasure. How aware are they of the problem? Okay, so let's give you an example. Do you guys remember that time when we all had Nokia phones?
Yes.
Okay, that was great.
Yeah.
Life was amazing.
Yeah.
Did any of you experience a very deep pain not being able to be on social media on your phone?
No.
Were you aware of that?
Yeah.
Would you today have a Nokia? Would that be a problem? Okay. So you are unaware. I mean, it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
But we weren't aware of it. Okay. So coming to someone with a fantastic solution, with them not knowing that they've got a problem, is a problem.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to say, I don't need it. How many of us that say we don't want this smartphone? Can you guys remember that? We'd go, and so what happens is you have to determine these 5 levels. They're completely unaware. No, but I mean, you can Google it, the 5 levels of awareness. They're completely unaware, so now they're problem aware, they're solution aware, they're your solution aware, and they're ready to buy. Okay. So we have to decide where are the people that need to understand they've got a problem that makes the buying decision, where are they on this line? What it means when people are completely unaware that they have a problem. In this case, I don't think they're unaware that they've got a problem, but they're not aware of the solution. Okay, so let's look at the awareness of these people. So let's put it on, if we can put it on here, because we need to determine how aware they are, and then we can determine what needs to happen. So if we put it on a line, and it's the 5 levels, okay? So this is totally unaware. I'm not aware I've got a problem. This is us pre-smartphones, okay? This is some awareness, so it just goes up like this, okay? This is your solution, okay? Here you know you've got a problem, and then most aware, okay? The thing is, the more to this side you lay, you can't give people a solution to their problem because they're not aware they've got a problem. So what do you need to do? You have to educate. Once you educate people, they become aware of the problem. So you will see any big company with big budgets, when they try to enter a market of a new product, they are extremely aggressive. Okay, so what does it tell us? The more unaware people are of a product, the harder it is to penetrate the market, and the more it's going to cost. So on the flip side, I always like to look at when someone comes to me and says, I've got this idea, I want to enter the market. I always look at, okay, is there competition? And people are like, no, there's no competition, we're the first. Then I'm like, oops, problem, because you're going to need funds to educate people. But in your case, I think those people are, we know our kids need attention. We need to educate them. But they're just not aware. So they think, and like Harvey said, it can be the other way around, but a lot of people think, you know, if I let my child do this and this and this and this, then I will get my outcome. So what it means, the kind of education is to understand we need to come in here. We need to say, okay, but this is a solution, and then they become, you are the solution, and they become a client. But just to understand the fact that education is more important at this moment. So what does that mean? It means things like webinars. It means things like talking to schools. So anything you can do education-wise is going to. But then you need, like Harvey said, you need your back end in place to see, okay, that becomes the beginning of your funnel, but we need to understand what this content should be.
Okay.
No. What is it?
What is it?
I think there, where you said, okay, there's no competition, I think you have to look wider than, are other people teaching this? So in this space, I feel you are directly competing with all extramural activities that a child can do. Because as we said earlier, you don't send your child necessarily to tennis to learn tennis, but to learn other life skills. And I think one of the things there is people need to be able to compare your product to these extramurals. So if you think extramural, I'm thinking it's something that happens every term. It's 1 hour a week, and I pay whatever 1,000 rand a term. The moment you take it out of that packaging,
Daar's baie min. Wat betaal jy 1,000
Ja.
Want ek sê
4,000
rand
but that's the way a parent looks at a product. It's like, for example, I'll take it back to spa. If you used to buying 6 rolls in a packet, okay, you can compare my rolls to Woolworth's rolls to someone else's rolls, and you can go, that's the price difference. The moment we pack it in 4, we think, okay, now it's got a better pickup price, but it doesn't actually. The person, like, I'm out of my comfort zone. I don't know how to actually compare this price. There's something wrong here, and it actually doesn't sell better.
Wow.
En ek het 5 kinders, wie eet nie?
En ek het 5 kinders. So yeah, if you pack it on an uneven number, dan is jy sommer heeltemal uit die game.
Ja.
But I think at the moment, if you're competing for that pool of money, you need to make sure that I would restructure the course to be something that they actually go to once a week. It's lasting. You build this club effect. You make sure that this impact lasts. A parent commits for a term, maybe 3 terms, 2 terms, and girls can just keep slotting in so that you don't have to go and find new clients for every course again. You sort of build a recurring customer base, and a parent can go, okay, I'm paying this compared to that. It makes sense.
But may I ask you something? You said something that triggered something in me, which might be the biggest competitor. Not somebody with the same course, not extra, but the mom themselves. Because if you are now saying, but this is the role I'm going to play, I'm going to manage, then, and the mom goes, I don't know if I feel comfortable with somebody else teaching me that, my kid that, because it means I failed as a parent. Do the mom then become a competitor?
She does, in
where
my opinion.
I'm competing with you. So that's something we need to just think about. And sorry, as a man, which you guys
That's
are saying,
what you
this
hear.
is for women power. I'm like, okay. Get the pocket square. As a man, we went to, and I know that Heinz did it, I think your husband did it as well, the world needs a father. So going, teach me to be a better father. Okay?
Yeah.
Is it not something for my kid? Yeah, there's, what's the thing that Heinz had the other night?
The journey.
So you bring him, here's the journey. I mean, you put him on a farm in the dark, and he needs to get his way back, and you go, oh my word. Okay, I couldn't teach him that. And then for my kid's 13th, what we did was go up a mountain, and every kilometer there was somebody else, a man, saying, this is what I have learned in life, my biggest life lesson. So when he gets to the top, we celebrate that he's there. But so as men, we go, I don't know everything, please help me. But it seems like with women, it might be the other way around. I don't know. So that's something that...
I think it's really angel uitdol.
Yeah.
So it's very clear that this is not making you an inadequate mother. That is not what we're saying at all.
Actually makes you a great mother.
It makes you a great mother.
Actually
But I
does.
think I'm now reading on your laptop, because I think you've changed this recently to your slogan that now says building confident leaders one girl at a time.
Yeah, this is the foundation.
So kom ek
Which
julle
is-
clip notes, girls?
So I just want to get back to the competition side. So there's 2 kinds of competition. The one is you're competing for the same amount of money,
Yeah.
which means that you as Paar is also a competitor to a
Woolworths.
car company. Or there's supermarkets competing. So what I mean here is similar things, you know. So she's got a choice of, do I want that life coach, that one, or that one? Whereas in this case, yes, that we're competing for the same amount of money, but there's not necessarily, it's not a well-known fact that your child should have a life coach. Whereas the other things we know, we do extra hockey, extra tennis, extra, so those, it's not difficult to get that. But that's where the education comes in, to understand. I mean, it's quite a new concept.
Maar dis baie eerlik gesê.
Do you
Life coach.
use the word life coach in your
No,
stuff?
that
Yes,
is-
you
that's
should
why
use
it's
life
really
coach.
I think that is a
Yeah.
breakthrough.
Trigger.
Like,
Yeah.
stop it. Like, no, that was brilliant. I think
That's
it's
brilliant.
a life coach. The whole process is a life coach because life coaching. I'm married, so my wife knows everything. I don't need a life coach. She's my life coach. Okay.
She's your life coach.
Okay. So, baie far. Anyway, ek moes dit sê.
Wat wil jy sê?
But that's a brilliant thing because life coaching has become. I've got a business coach. I've got a life coach. I've got that. If maybe that will take the little angle out
Yeah.
that goes. No, we're not here to compete. We're just a life coach so that when they're at home, they actually, it's easier for you. That's a brilliant angle.
And if you think about it, a life
Is waar
coach
geld.
is to prevent a psychologist eventually.
Yes, but
You
I
know?
was going
Oh,
there now.
yeah.
It's preventative
Because
because most teenagers,
Yes.
think about your masterclasses.
Yeah.
So you went from one-on-one is expensive.
Yeah.
So how many kids are seeing, so maybe
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't need a psychologist. I'm saying there's a lot of kids that maybe if they go through this process in a class setup, it's much cheaper. You will probably avoid
Yeah.
some of those.
Well, that can be a
Absolutely.
great marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Do you think this is expensive? Do you
Yeah.
know what a psychologist costs?
You know what you also said, what's really a good angle is the fact that get the mothers, and I mean, you have a community of mothers, and then those become the people you sell the.
Well, that's how the whole setup of a world needs a father is that you get together. I think we were the first group of people that got together in COVID under a tree somewhere because we were not allowed to be inside. And men were like, oh my word, let's just do this. We want to get outside. And it's this 100 men together saying, okay, what does it take to raise a good son or daughter? And they train us first, and then you train the kids. And that was a brilliant thing. But I'm not saying you must do that. But I do think the life coach thing is a brilliant.
But you also
angle.
touched on something just now. You said, who is the person that's now going to teach my child? Because it's fine having a life coach, but I'm going to check that out quite intensely if I'm going to send my kids to you. And I think when I had the franchise, that was also a little bit, but the mothers would ask, show me the curriculum. What are you teaching? Because I'm not necessarily trusting that you're going to teach the same that I believe in or that I find valuable. So if it says Aletté is going to teach me how to be a confident business leader, I'll be like, for sure. But if you're going to say maybe a franchisee that hasn't got the experience is going to teach me
No children.
from a manual and no children, I'm going to be like, not so sure. And that's where franchising a business becomes difficult. But as a franchisor, you can empower them quite a bit to make sure that a lot of these topics are covered either in videos or in something that is pre-recorded by someone that's absolutely phenomenal in that field.
Yeah.
And thereby you're actually getting life coaching from those people.
Yeah.
And there's just a facilitator.
We have all of that, by the way.
That's
All of that.
Okay.
We have that.
But that's a good point because as a life coach, you need to, I think, be certified as that. So maybe that is not, I don't know, are they certified or not? Because
They go through a qualifying process. We don't take enige Jan Rap and sy maat. You have to fit the bill. You have to have the same values as us. You have to, have a clean record when it
But
comes
I'm
to
just
everything.
wondering,
You don't have to be qualified to be a life coach.
You don't.
As far as I
Well-
know. No, I know many people that are life coaches already.
They're not qualified.
Yeah, but let's just. I think that is a way. I think your education part is so important. You have to educate so that you can take a little angle out. Get the moms together, maybe in a breakfast, 2-hour breakfast in the morning. Get the coaches to speak and say this is what we're going to do, so that they buy into them, and then it's easier to send your child to that person after you got to know them. Or maybe not. Maybe when you get to know them, you don't want to. But I know that you qualify your people. So I think this is quite valuable on how to get the people. But I think that you're right. If I can show something that I'm a bit qualified, people will go, yes. And I agree with you. I've seen life coaching. I go, no, you should first coach your own life.
Yeah.
But
You should go to one.
Yeah. is there something that you can do to?
There's enough resources there.
The thing is, I just want to come back to what you said earlier about the fathers thing. So I just think that is the best solution, creating a movement of moms with daughters. And from that, because if they believe in you, they're never even going to ask for your certificate or anything. I mean, they're not going to, if they
I agree.
like
Good point.
have a big movement of moms with daughters.
Okay, hoe lyk dit? Want ek gaan vir jou sê, ek wil net gou terugkom na wat jy gesê het oor die ma wat die kompetisie is. Ek wil regtig vir die ma daarby te sê, as ek vir 10 jaar lank image consulting gedoen het, waarvan hierdie baie involved is, want image consulting is confidence, is body language, dis hoe jy staan, praat, dis is nie net wat jy aantrek nie. En ek kon in die training sit en dink, oh my hat, hierdie is so waardevol. Kan ek jou wet as 'n ma wat niks met hierdie uit te waai het nie, you're not gonna know. You're not gonna know these things. En ons moet ons trots aside sit en sê, luister, ek gaan net flippend dankbaar wees, iemand gaan my kind hierdie goed leer. Because it's gonna give her the edge. Dit sit hulle soveel verder vorentoe in die lewe. En dis wat ons, wil jy nie dit vir jou kind hê nie? Ek is net te dankbaar as iemand anders hulle hand opsteek en sê, okay, I'll sort your kid out, wat daai betref, okay. Even me sal my kind na dit toe stuur, want hulle gaan nie na my luister nie, want ek is hulle ma. Ek sal sê, ek weet wat is die waarde, want ek weet wat gaan uitkom aan die ander kant. En dit is presies wat ek nou die dag met my broer bespreek het. Hoeveel ewigheidswaarde het die balletklas? Sy gaan dalk mooi kyk hê. Okay, dit het nogals ewigheidswaarde. Let's try tennis. Want dit is presies wat jy sê, daar's 1% van mense wat dit gaan maak. Gaan hierdie geld wat jy nou in jou kind sit, as hy 40 is, vir hom iets beteken? Nee, maar gaan hierdie geld vir hom iets beteken? Verseker, want it sets you up for life.
Ja, maar jou passie, jy het dit en jy versien dit.
Ja.
Ons sit nie hier want
Jy
die
doen
mense
Gawie, jy doen, ek watch jou. Ek sien jou judgement.
ouens sit ons sit nie hier want dit wat so ver gebeur het gewerk nie.
Ja,
Okay.
ja.
So ek dink ons sit hier want passie alleen is nie wat die ouens oortuig het om dit te kom nie.
Hulle weet
Hierdie werk. Nee, dit doen nie. Jy werk.
Hoe baie, ek sien dit so baie in ons winkels, nee. Ek is soos, hierdie moet werk. Wie sal dit nie wil hê nie? Hierdie is goed vir jou lyf, dis gesond en dan verkoop ons niks. Dan sit ons iets ongesonds met baie sous daarop en ons MSG's en dan freaking vlieg dit van die rak af. Dan sê ek dit soos
Sorry, ek is lus vir dit. Maar dit wat jy sê, ek sit hierdie week, ek dink jy vertel van sit ek saam met iemand en hulle kind sit daar want hulle het gevra kom praat asseblief van die absent father op hierdie stadium. So kan jy net gou 'n bietjie kom chat, ek sien iets nie. En ek praat 2 minute met die kind en die kind sê vir my sy's okay en ek sê nee, jy's nie. Ek het nou net dit en daar breek sy in hierdie en ek sê okay, ek's 'n man, ek weet nie wat om te doen nie.
Chocolates.
Okay, nee, ek weet
dis
nie.
meer die film chocolates te eet.
Luister, dis 'n spar om die hoek. Daar's 'n half seksie aan die links. Gaan verby aan die regterkant die paaseiers. Okay. Anyway, so ek dink toe sit ek daar en ek sê, maar luister, hier's 'n probleem met jou kind, want jy sien nie dit nie. As jy dit nie nou uitsorteer nie, die dag wanneer sy trou, gaan haar man dit moet uitsorteer.
Ja.
Of die kinders gaan hierdie gevolg hê. Ons moet dit nou uitsorteer.
Ja.
En sy was gelukkig een van haar ma's wat go, yes, wat doen ek?
Ja.
En ek gaan, okay, hier's 'n nommer, bel nou. Kry dat hulle dit doen, okay? En ons sal opvolg. Ons het 'n aksieplan in plek gesit, 3 goed wat moet gebeur in die volgende 2 weke en een van dit is om ek dink hulle kom jou sien. En dan jou kamp toe te gaan. Retreat kamp, waar is kom 'n retreat kamp? In elk geval saam met Rihanna wat op ons voorblad is. Maar so op die einde van die dag, ek dink toe sien ek iets daarso of die ma wil of sy gaan dit nie sien nie. So die realiteit is, yes, we do see the value. Yes, this will change your kid. Maar as dit alwas wat nodig was, dan was jy vol gewees. So, hoe maak ons seker dit gebeur nie? Ek dink wat sy sê is reg en ek dink sy moet die witbord gebruik.
Sy gaan nou opstaan.
Ek sê dit vir die kameraman met hulle skrik altyd. Ons almal skrik. Okay.
So ek gaan vir julle nou die 3 goed gee en dan begin ons dit nou uitmekaar uittrek, want dis iewers waar die fout lê, né? Dit jou en ek dink wat Gawie sê is lê die fout.
Ek weet ek sê nie.
Ons gaan nou kyk, want dit is iewers in hierdie. En dan my ander enetjie, okay, dis jy van, okay. So wat jy basies sê eintlik is ons sit met 'n probleem met die offer. Want daar's 3 goed nodig om dit te laat werk. Jy moet 'n goeie offer hê, nê, wat jy aan die regte mense sit. Hierdie is van ons dis 'n buying journey. En dan moet ons gaan kyk want wat jy nou genoem het is baie reg as ons gaan kyk na die waardeketting. So ons het dalk 'n 10 of 'n 100 en 'n 5. Okay, dis nou pryse, nê? Ons ek sê seker hoe julle goed nie. Maar wat jy genoem het is baie waar. Ons kort hierdie subscription. So net om te sien, hierdie is jou levels van produkte wat jy ons aanbied, maar wat jy gesê het missing is continuous subscription. So dis iets wat ons kan insit. So dit kom hierso. So ons is nog glad nie daar nie.
Veral as jy 'n franchise model het, want jou franchisees is nie noodwendig so sterk in verkope of besigheid soos jy nie. So that subscription base gives them the confidence om hulle besigheid te laat werk.
Traffic is ook nie nou 'n issue nie, né? Want dit is nie noodwendig, mense dink jy moet so baie, dit gaan nie daaroor nie, dit gaan net om die regte mense te hê. So hierdie kan ons paak, daai kan ons paak vir nou. Ek dink ons sit, of dis wat ek ook gekry het uit wat jy gesê het, ons sit met 'n offer, met 'n issue hierso. Die offer is nie gevalidate in die mark nie.
Ja.
Of ek weet nie of is dit nie, want gewoonlik, voordat ek iets launch, sal ek iets soos 'n waiting list. Hier sê idee, wie dink is 'n goeie idee? Baie mense hulle hand op sê ek, ja, great. Want dis wat jy ook gesê het, ja, ek dink is 'n goeie idee, maar dink die mark is 'n goeie idee. So nou kan ons hom kyk in verskillende angles. Miskien is die messaging van die offer net nie goed genoeg nie. So ek dink as mens die offer gaan uitfigure, hierdie is maklik om te doen. Dit gaan oor die offer, die waarde, okay, die value, wat hulle kry. Ken julle daai formule van 'n offer? Ek moet net vir my oopmaak.
Nee, maar jy gaan nou vir ons neertik.
Ek dink seker mooi kritiese notas.
Ja.
Okay, so kom ons, want ek weet nie, stem, wat dink julle? Waar dink julle lê die probleem?
Ek wil net verduidelik wat belangrik is dat ons het ons kursus nou so opgedeel dat dit 10 weke, 13 weke is dink ek. So it is a term thing. Net die kleintjies kan nie so lank nie, so hulle het 'n eendag kursus wat hulle net so half
Ja, maar dis eintlik 'n voorsmaak hè.
Ja, wat kom. So we have that in place. Ons kan dan gaan mooi uitwerk hoe om die ouers dit so te laat betaal dat dit hulle nie voel dit is eens op een slag nie. So we have that in place. Die offer kan definitief werk. Ek wil ook net sê wat belangrik is om te noem is dat onder die franchisees is presies wat jy nou gesê het. Party kan maak dit, hulle is entrepreneurs, hulle go for it. Party het net 'n hart vir girls en hulle wil net eintlik teach, but they don't know how to get the word out there. Een van ons girls wat ongelooflik goed doen is in PE. Sy skop deure af. Sy vat nie nonsens nie. Sy gaan sit by hoofde aan tafel en sê letterlik, wat doen jy oor teenage pregnancies? Wat doen jy in skool? Dan sê hoof net so dankbaar dat iemand anders die verantwoordelikheid. Sy sê ek soek 'n klas, ek soek 'n tyd, ek soek 'n
Ja, maar dan is jy 'n probleem wie betaal hom.
Okay, maar kyk gou.
Op die einde, maar die hoof gaan jy nie betaal nie.
maar die hoof gaan die woord uitkry.
Waarvan jy praat is hierdie sirkel, traffic.
Ja.
So wanneer ons by traffic kom, that's a different thing.
Okay.
Dan gaan ons weer 3 sirkels hê. Dan gaan ons sê dis soos own of create, borrow en pay. Okay. So wat sy doen is, sy gaan borrow audiences. So sê jy het jou eie ene, sy gaan borrow. So nou kan ons, as ons by traffic kom, kan ons 'n strategie uitwerk van presies wat se ene. So of jy bou dit, nê, of jy borrow dit, wat beteken dit? O, praat met Gawie van Joy, of dis gaan na die skool of so. Of jy doen jou pay dads. Maar jy kan nie dit doen as jou messaging verkeerd is nie. So as mens sê die messaging is reg, want sy kry dit reg, dan is dit een ding.
Okay,
Maar kom ons, ek wil net gou terugkom by die offer, né?
Kom, ons gaan dit afneem, ons hou
So
daarvan.
al wat 'n offer basically
Dankie,
is jou value proposition. Hoe wys jy vir mense die waarde?
Ja.
So, en hierdie is iets wat ek geleer het by Alex Armouze, dis baie clever. So value, so dis regtig niks wat ek self uitgedink het nie. So jou dream outcome. Okay, times the likelihood. Ek gaan nou vir jou sê wat dit is. Of success. Okay. Oor jou time delay Okay?
Dit is 'n
Times
gekompliseerde wiskunde
effort.
som.
Dit is baie. Dis is flippend baas
Dit
X.
laat my dink in skool, X
Sacrifice.
times Y. Gaan ek nie
En dit werk presies dieselfde. So omdat hy op 'n ding is, beteken dit die value gaan groter wees as hierdie klein is en hy gaan groter wees as daai groot is. So wat hierdie formule vir ons sê, iets wat hoe kleiner die ding onder die lyn is, hoe groter is die antwoord, nê? Hoe groter die ding. So sê maar hierdie is 100 en hierdie is 50. Dan gaan dit mos 'n half wees.
Ja.
Maar sê maar dis andersom, dan gaan dit mos 2 wees. So ons wil hê daai moet hoog wees, daai moet hoog wees, hierdie moet laag, nê? En dit is jou messaging. So, nou moet jy gaan determine wat is die dream outcome? En dit baie mooi gaan. So ons kan dit nou formuleer.
Okay.
So wat is dit wat hulle eintlik soek, die ouers? So wat is die rede dat hulle kind inskryf?
sodat hulle uitstaan van die res van mense veral as hulle klaar is met skool.
Wat is die emotional reasons? Okay. So dit is 'n exercise wat mens moet doen. Wat is die likelihood dat hierdie gaan werk, nê? Want dit is verskriklik belangrik om te kan demonstreer. Hoe demonstreer jy likelihood of success? Deur reviews, deur
Jy kan nie as die eienaar van 'n besigheid die likelihood probeer determine nie, want jy gaan 100%.
Ja,
altyd.
Nee, maar hoe gaan jy dit in jou values sit deur middel van om vir mense te wys jy kan soos jou trust. Hierdie is jou trust factor. So watse trust het jy nodig in my, nê? My trust factor. So dit increase likelihood, wat increase nog likelihood of success ander mense wat reeds suksesvol was. Okay? So dit wil ons so groot as moontlik hê in ons value in ons offer. Dan wil ons sê time delay en effort of sacrifice. So met die time delay is dit soos om te noem, jy gaan klaar verandering in 7 dae sien. Dit is soos jy gesê het, we want quick wins. Om dit te demonstreer van die mense. Weet om in jou so wat ons kan doen is ons kan kyk na jou sales page en dan kyk ons wat is dit en dan die effort and sacrifice. So die punt is net die dream outcome. Hier is die belangrikste. Want is dit hulle dream outcome? Maar die ander is maklik om te doen. So is dit dat ouers wakker lê in die nag en dink o, jy's my kind kort 'n life coach. En as dit nie die geval is nie, moet ons gaan kyk. Wat is die probleem wat ouers het? En then we have to talk to that problem. So ons hoef nie noodwendig die life coach te verkoop as dit nie is wat hulle wil hê nie. Wat soek hulle? So wat is die dream outcome? Jy moet die dream outcome sell. En dit is wat mens moet determine.
Een van die franchisees het in die forum gesê, ons wil jou help om daai tienerrol oë te voorkom. Wie wil daai ek hou net daarvan is my kind vir my. Regtig daai. Dis my dream outcome as ek nie dit in my kind het nie.
Ja, maar is it achievable? Jy weet, ek moet ook versigtig wees om iets te gaan verkoop waar it's not achievable. Ek dink ek wil nie vir julle praat nie. Ek is nie 'n girl nie gelukkig, ek is 'n man. Ons het 3 seuns. 17, 15 en 18 maande. En ek kyk na hulle en ek dink ons is goeie ouers, maar ek kry nog steeds die oë gerol. Ons kan 'n love, ons gaan so ek weet nie of 'n ou maar hoe om mee te deel, dis miskien anders. Of hoe om jou kind te help om mee te deel, dit is miskien 'n great outcome. Want ek sit nou hier en dink en ek het gekyk na en ons het vroeër daaroor gepraat voor die kameras op ons was. En ek het gekyk oor wat sê die franchisees hoekom mense nie opgeteken het nie. Okay? En dis dieselfde in enige besigheid. Dis nie hierdie besigheid
nie. Uniek nie.
En in die Zig Ziglar wêreld noem mense dit nog net 'n objection bank. Okay? So dis 'n objection wat iemand het, maar hoe kom ek om dit? So ek het ek bedoel ek het dit nou hier oopgemaak net om myself te herinner daaraan. Kan ek gou jou bril neem? Nee, So ek het nou hier gekyk na die goed, die ouens wat sê ons het nie goed tyd, dis te duur. jy weet, dit is goed wat jy in elke liewe besigheid kry, waar die ouens gaan, nou ja, dis te duur. Nee, so hulle het nie die value proposition gesien wat sy van praat nie. Die offer was nie op so 'n manier dat hulle gaan, I have to do it. So ons gaan moet dink, wat is daai emosionele koop vir die ouens gaan hê? En miskien is dit daai emosionele ding van, ek weet nie van julle nie. Ek ken julle almal behalwe jou ken ek, maar nie so goed nie, maar julle twee ken ek nogals, né? Julle is great mense, maar julle is ook great ma's en great vrouens, okay? Maar ma's, ek weet julle is, want ek ken julle kinders en ek sien hoe hulle is. So, maar ek is 100% seker julle lê in die aand in die bed gaan, how do I solve this? I don't know how to do this, okay? En wat ek weet, ons doen dieselfde. En dis daai rol wat jy wil, daai life coach rol wat jy wil vervul. Om te sê, daai vraag wat jy sê in jou bed lê in die aand. Ons gaan help daarmee. En ons gaan nie jou net help daarmee nie, want ons wil nie jou beter leer nie. Dit is te laat vir jou. Nee, ons maar ons kan jou kind help om daarmee te kan emosionele IQ te hê. EQ, sorry.
Ja.
Emosionele EQ te hê, hoe om meer te deel. Ons help hulle om goeie maniere te hê. Ek het nou die dag toe kom ek by 'n vriend se huis, né? Sy kind kyk jou nie in die oë nie. Hy wil nie met jou praat nie. Ek sê,
Wow.
die eerste ding wat jy doen is, hallo oom.
Ja.
As jy met my sê,
Maar is dit omdat die ouers nie waarde daaraan heg nie?
dit kan
Want
wees.
if they don't, as hulle nie waarde daaraan gaan heg nie, they're not going to pay you to teach them this.
Ek sê-
Daar is 'n hele, want Aletté sê, "Ek
Ja.
nie dink
Ja.
is belangrik iemand
Ja.
te groet nie. Mense sê almal moet tot tannie neem. Ek wil soos weghol. Moenie nie tannie neem nie."
Op daai noot. Vanoggend moet ek saam met Alana bly by die skool. Sy wil altyd hê ons moet eers bietjie net tyd spandeer, bietjie haar saai, nou swaai ek haar. Nou het sy my elke aand vertel sy my van hierdie seentjie wat haar moeilik maak vir haar by die skool, né? Nou kom die seentjie en
Jy
sy
weet,
maatjie.
sy ma luister
Ja, ja,
tot nou.
ja.
Ek gaan nie name noem nie. Nou kom
maar
die
net.
seentjie en sy
Hypothetical.
maatjie op die groot swaai. Ek is op die gewone swaai, hulle is op die tyre wat so gaan. Nou skimp hulle hard dat ek hulle moet swaai. Nou sê hulle, "Swaai ons." Ek sê, "Asseblief tannie. Asseblief tannie." Nou swaai ek hulle. Nou swaai ek vir Alana. Dan gaan hulle weer, "Swaai ons weer." "Asseblief tannie. Asseblief tannie." Ek is daai tannie. Maar omdat ons weet wat se waarde dit het. Een van die goed wat ons leer vir hulle in hierdie kursusse is jy lê dalk op die bank saam met jou buddy en TV kyk en haar pa kom by die huis en jy kyk skaars op. Jy weet nie of daai oom eendag jou baas gaan wees nie. Die indrukke wat ons maak van 'n klein ouderdom of ek onthou my vriende se kinders wat 'n indruk maak. Like, oh my word, jy staan vir my uit. Ek kan dit sommer sien, jy gaan ver kom.
So om terug te kom na jou vraag, dis 'n baie goeie vraag, né? Want ek dink ons almal dink dis maar jou lyn, my lyn al.
Ja.
So
Almal se
iewers
lyn.
gaan ons 'n lyn moet hê.
Filter
Okay,
vir
en gelukkig ons is almal Christene om die tafel, so ons het 'n redelike goeie lyn wat
Ja.
ons sê okay, hier's die lyn, maar in my huis is dit vir my belangrik. My seuns, as julle ooit by my huis kom en hulle bly sit en hulle staan nie op om julle te groet nie en hulle sit of hulle kom nie uit hulle kamer uit om julle te kom groet nie, is al moeilikheid in my huis as julle weg is. Okay? Maar dis my standaard vir my ouens. Hoekom?
Ja.
Want eendag as hy iemand gaan hê, gaan hulle en hy is in 'n boardroom tafel en
Ja.
die eienaar stap in en hy's die enigste ou wat opstaan,
Ja.
glo my jy's die ou wat die ding gaan kry.
preach it,
So ek
Gawie.
teach nie, ek
Maak
teach
my
dit nie vir hulle
swak.
want dit is vir
Ja.
my belangrik nie.
Ja.
Ek kyk ook wat is belangrik. Maar daar's dalk mense wat nou luister hierna wat hulle nog nooit aan eens aan gedink nie.
Ek
Okay?
weet.
Net dit nie. As ek by 'n
Ons
seun,
gaan daar. Nee, sorry.
nee, ek's getroud.
Die
ek
ding
verloor.
is, as jy die value proposition bewoord as ek leer jou kind maniere en sê,
Wel,
Ja.
okay.
Ja.
Maar
Die
as jy
outcome.
dit vat as oor 10, 20 jaar gaan jou kind in daai rotsel sit
Ja.
of in
Ja.
daai boardroom sit en jou dogter gaan in die boardroom sit and that's a whole
Ja.
different ball game. Om
Ja.
in 'n boardroom
Jy
te sit.
weet, enigste
En nie,
female.
jy moet nie feminine oorkom nie, jy moet nie as 'n man oorkom nie, jy moet confident oorkom, jy moet nie oorconfident oorkom nie. Jy moet jou sê kan sê, maar jy moet nie te veel praat nie. Anders te verloor jy respek en om daai line te tou, it takes all of those things put together. En as jy dit nie vroeg geleer het nie, dan is die learning curve as jy groot mens is.
Ja, baie moeilik.
Verskriklik.
Baie moeilik, ja.
En dis die value proposition. So
Ja.
daai verseker moet my dogtertjie dit leer en dis hoekom sê ek groet vandag.
Maar wat as jy sê ek het wat ons almal nou, ek ken nie al daai goed nie. Waar 'n ou kan dan in jou value proposition sê ons het klaar daaraan gedink. Ons het 'n groep van ons het gekyk na hierdie ding en ons het gesien hier's die 10 goed wat nog ons redelik in die toekoms belangrik gaan wees. So jy hoef nie daaroor te worry nie. You're a great mom. Keep at it.
Ja.
However,
Ja.
Ja.
dis is
Sorry.
sorry.
Ja, ja.
I've got it.
Okay.
I think I've got it.
Okay.
Konkreet.
So die punt
Sommige
is,
was klaar.
die punt is, hier's dit. Dis 'n goeie offer. Hy's dalk nie goed bewoord nie. Nê?
Nog nie.
It's needed. Okay.
Vir 'n bietjie offended.
So,
Ek iets doen. Hy het dit nie goed bewoord nie.
so weet jy wat moet jy doen, nê? Jy as okay, ons het bepaal ons is in die education stage van die besigheid. So jy as myn business,
Okay.
kan ek aan die kant staan. Okay. So hier's girls school, né? Okay. En ons het nou al ons franchises. The education has to happen there, né? Hierso moet 'n goeie funnel in plek kom wat leads inbring en daai leads moet afgaan soontoe, né? So daai is baie maklik om te doen.
Okay.
Want jy het klaar beheer oor die traffic, you understand traffic. En dan, yes, hierdie mense word selfsmatig getrain om ook hulle eie goed te doen. Maar as 'n phase 1, né, moet jy van hier af sê maar 10,000 leads kry op e-mail, né? En hoe kry ons dit? Daar's nou baie maniere om dit te doen. En in jou vraelyst in watse area is jy? En daai leads, en ek weet maybe it's not what you want to hear, maar as hart van die besigheid en passie van die besigheid sal dit hierdie verskriklik help. Maar dan is daar hulle word leads gevoer, daar moet 'n stelsel wees van hoe word leads opgevolg, wat is jou conversion op die goed en jy gaan uit as jy nie if you don't perform, jy weet. Dan as jy dit so doen en dan eventually jou swak, okay, ek kan nou nie sê mense uitkry nie, maar jou mense kry wat solid is, dan gaan hulle dit van daar af kan vat, maar dan het hulle genoeg messaging en material en ways. So dan is dit, okay, what is your next step? Jy doen dalk 'n oggendjie, jy moet daai skoolhoof gaan sien. Maar as jy as die konsep, want dit is moeilik vir franchise eienaar om te gaan, hoor julle, dis belangrik vir jou kind om 'n life coach te hê, want jy is die hart van dit. You understand the importance. The conviction lies with you. En dis die probleem. Die conviction lê nie nog nie by 'n franchisehouer nie. Hulle is nog nie so convicted nie. Hulle wil dit graag doen, hulle is passievol, but they don't have the conviction. And if you sell without conviction, you're going to get nowhere. So over time, they will get that clarity and conviction. Maak sin? Maar dis nie net wat jy
Nee, maar dit is waar.
Meer werk vir my.
dan, want dan gaan kyk
Maak nie
ons,
sin nie.
okay.
Wat sê jy? Maak nie sin nie. Jy
Die
sien?
kamera sê op man, jy sê kon nie praat. Nee, want ek luister vir haar en ons moet vir jou luister want jy is die eerste franchisee, reg? So
Sy was net met die
die
eerste
ding is as jy glo, ek glo nie aan dat iemand vir iemand sê tannie nie. Maar dis deel van die reëls. Gaan haar conviction nie so oortuigend wees dat sy go, ek wil hierdie ding gaan verkoop aan almal nie. So dis eerste ding waar jy moet begin dat die stel goed wat hierdie ouens gaan leer dat almal inkoop in dit. En dan moet jy ouens kry wat 'n sterk conviction het om dit te gaan verkoop. Sonder dit gaan dit nie af kan gaan onder.
So deel hiervan, daai conviction is baie van hierdie goed is al van toepassing op dogtertjies, vandat ons dogtertjies was.
Verseker.
Maar jy moet 'n ouer in vandag se tyd kan convince that you understand
What they're going through.
teenagers now. En dit is, of ons dit nou wil hoor of nie, it's a different world.
But that's why we include cyber savviness.
Yes, I know.
All of that
But
is
ek
included.
onthou, so I
Ja.
remember, moet ek nou 'n bietjie Engels praat?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you very much.
I remember walking
And
into
no.
I remember when I still had a franchise, I walked into a local high school's. I went to the headmaster. I know him well. Sat with him, told him we've got a heart for girls. We want to do this. And I was like halfway through my first 2 sentences, and he told me, "Is it a finishing school?" And I remember because our pamphlets had a lot on that still said etiquette, boer, and I was this. No! I was like, pamphlet was weg. And then he said, I will, if something like a finishing school, he feels it's outdated, he feels we don't understand what they're going through today. His biggest need is for girls to actually step up as leaders. If that's where you're focusing, you're welcome in the school. And then I did do a session with them.
You actually helped us to change over to finishing and educate to
So
leadership
it's
and
not a finishing
confidence.
school, it's a starting school.
But that is
Yes.
a very good angle,
That is a goeie
even
angle.
better than the life coaching angle.
Well, ek
is
dink
the
daai twee is
leadership,
saam.
the
Leadership and
leadership
confidence.
and confidence. But I want to come back to what I said. If you're new in business, it takes time for you to develop conviction. You've been in business very long, in this business, you have a very deep-seated conviction. Your franchise, for the franchisees, has
Some of
to...
them do.
Yeah, they do. But the thing is, if they've got a conviction, then they won't be struggling. That's the point. They've got, because nothing will keep you from what you are that. That's how it is.
No, I know.
You know.
Yeah.
So
But
they
you
are
have to
struggling
create-
because the first question.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. When he said, I'm expensive. I know I'm not expensive. So I can very easily tell him, and I can give him reasons why. Because I'm so convinced, and I'm so sure of my product and of the results. Whereas when you're new in business, you're not sure of the results. I'm not sure I'm going to get your child
To change.
changed. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, you're going to doubt yourself. So when you can, that's why I say, when you can sort of convince the parents, and then because the one that's so successful, she understands the value.
Yeah. Two of them are really successful.
That is a very big problem in businesses
Everywhere.
everywhere. They don't have a conviction, and they think they do. But when you have to sell and you're not convinced of the outcome, of the success, of what you're going to get, of this is the only solution, and without the solution, you are going to end up in the gutter, it's going to be hard.
But some businesses are easier to sell than others, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if I go sell oxygen to a lung hospital in COVID, they're going to go, need it. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not,
But
it's not a big
that's
thing.
once again, they understand the problem. So that's the thing. The education needs to happen with so much conviction that people understand the problem.
But so what I want to say, some is more difficult than others. When it's a jet ski, it's going to be difficult because to convince you need a jet ski, it's going to be difficult. Okay, except if you've got a house and whatever. But
If you've got the right audience, it's not going to be difficult.
True.
So that comes in our traffic thing.
But I do want to educate them to a certain extent that I say, well, do you understand it's cheaper than a boat? And so we can get into some. But what I want to say with this is,
Seriously, Gawie, rarig.
my phone lyn net, dis op silent,
Ja.
as dit my vrou is.
Wow.
Dis my vrou.
Het jy nie vir jou vrou gesê wat jy doen vandag nie?
Ek doen, maar sy wil seker weet of ek nog steeds hier is, okay? 3 suksesvolle vrouens om 'n tafel met my, so let check of all's right is. I probably should nerves nog okay. Anyway, so but to come back, I do think that if we get the value proposition right, because I want to pull it back here, that's great
Yes.
for business. I 100% agree with her. If we get your value proposition right, however, I'm struggling to think why it's so difficult, because I think for a lot, my folks, I just want to think if they're going to watch this, my folks, I don't think that they left a lot to the school to teach me. A lot of it. I was never taught about certain things, okay? The school het my waardesisteem ondergegee, or my rugby coach, or whatever. So we do leave it to other people. Right now, in the world we are right now, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I cannot leave it to someone else that I don't trust and know, because what is it? The art of first mention,
Yeah.
right? So whoever's going to mention it first, and they off to the left or the right, that is going to then stick with him. And now I have to convince my kid that that's not the truth, this is the truth.
Yes.
Okay. So this should be an easy thing to sell to a parent, to say, before the world and their system gets to your kid, let us just give them a
Wow.
base to work from, so
I
that
like
if they've
that.
got that base, then we can do X, Y, Z. Okay, and it shouldn't be difficult. I don't know, because I'm taking this from what you said, because
Yeah.
your biggest competition is the women themselves, and that's that education. I really resonate with that, because we need to educate that. No, who's going to teach them? If hey, rather us giving them great, why would you not
Yeah.
want these values?
Yeah.
Tick, 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 tick. And you maybe just have the 10 core values.
Yeah.
Why? Is this what you want in your kid? Yes, we teach that. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I want to add to that, because I think this is very relevant right now, and with the conversation we've had just now. About 2 years ago, we had a publicist to help us we tried everything to get the word out, okay? And they organized for me to have an interview with many radio stations. And this morning I had an interview with Cape Talk. Obviously very liberal, very, okay?
Yeah.
So this morning, I've done many of them. We go through the same questions. I'm kind of prepared. We're actually on holiday, so I'm going for a walk while I'm doing this interview. And they asked me what it is about. And I said, well, it teaches girls this and this and this and this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the guy started reading me the comments of people phoning in, like, is this woman even for real? Like, is she living in the same century as we are? Because they think it's not. And they ask, are you going to teach a girl to rule in the boardroom? I'm like, yes, because if you get all of this right, she will rule in the boardroom one day. But what I want to get to people is that even though the world has changed a lot, I mean, it's not the same world we grew up in, there is inherently in our DNA, in how we as humans are put together, there are certain things that we look out for in other people to see whether we're going to trust them or not. Doesn't matter where you come from. We still have that innate gift that I'm like, you don't look the part. And 93% of the impression that we make, 55% is just visual, so just how you look, sit, stand, talk. Well, not even talking. 38% is how you sound, how you say something. Everybody's done something,
Yeah.
right? And only 7% is what you actually say. So if you, as a mother looking at your child, teaching them to be able to go for an interview one day, because you want a future for your child, only you can educate them with the best education. Only 7% of what they are, the impression they're going to make is what they're actually going to say. Is actually going to matter of, like, do they know their skills or not? The rest is all how you portray yourself, the confidence level that you come across. It is in us. The world can change until ek weet nie flippend, weet nie waar jy nie. It's nog steeds die beginsels van first impressions. Dis daai ouetjie wat gaan opstaan, wat nog steeds hy ou gaan beïndruk. Hy gaan dalk sê, jy hoef nie vir my tannie te sê nie, but still, if somebody's going to call you tannie, gaan jy voel, hierdie ouetjie het respect vir my. Ek like jou.
But you know what my boys said to me the other day. So when you with them,
Tannie.
I can't.
Okay.
I can't. I cannot.
Tannie ek praat.
Nie 'n tienerregisseur nie.
So no, but yeah. So I mean, there was a rule: 10 years and older, you say Tannie, right? That's not there anymore. I agree with that. So there's certain things that we can agree. It changes over time. But if my boys were here and you came up the stairs, they would fly out the door to go fetch the whiteboard from you and carry it for you.
Yeah.
When you are at the door, they will open the door and they will wait for you to come in.
Wow.
If they walked in before, they'll say, "I'm sorry, Tannie." Oh, I'm sorry if you don't want them. They'll say, jammer dat ons voor jou ingestap, ek het Tannie nie gesien of wat ek kon nie. Now, there is people that go, excuse me, do you think I can't open the door myself? There's girls at this school that does that. They come to me and say, hey, why? So why do we do this? And I say, because 99% of the world still buy into good values and manners.
Yeah.
So we're going to speak to that 99 and not the 1% that's trying to be difficult.
Yeah.
And that's the messaging is, I don't think that you guys cater for the 5% of the world that's going to go, no, sorry, I don't care. They own women.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's that, and how do we
95%.
communicate to that? Because
But
again, I'm
that's
looking at the passion of both of you, and I go, man, why? I don't have daughters, but I'm sending them.
Jy gaan nou 'n dogtertjie maak.
Ja, Jackie X, nobody else. Anyway.
But one of the barriers is that how do we communicate? So honestly, I agree with you that a lot of that is still very relevant. I mean, it's going to stay like that forever and ever and altyd.
Yeah.
Nee? But the way we say it, the way we talk about it,
Yeah.
that changes.
Yes.
So I think there's room to change some of these wording because I think the wording,
Yeah.
if I hear the word etiquette, I'm already on my back foot.
Yes.
I think people take offense much
if I
easier,
hear the
and
word,
that's why.
sommer ek pik na som op jou woorde. What inner beauty, ek's
Ek dink
klaar
jy
op my
moes
back
tyd saam
foot.
met jou franchisees gehad het, want ek sien hier is klomp goed wat gesê
So we need to word it in a word, in wording that is so relevant to the teenagers today that mom goes, flip, jy het dit uitgefigure en ek het nou nog nie. Maar but the core of it remains the same. But it's how you
say it.
actually say it.
But do you find that
My
even
girls
kids,
call me broer. I mean, ek het so rukkie gevat om daarmee
Ja.
gewoond. Ek was soos ek gaan nie gewoond raak nie.
Ja.
Dis nie okay nie, maar dis nou ewe skielik 'n ding.
Ja.
But it's like, is dit nou regtig so 'n big deal?
My kinders sê, "Hey Gafster, is jy alright?" Like, dude. Is jy Gafster? Papa, jy call my dude. So but let me ask you this, because I agree with that. Do you think it's because even our children get offended so easily when we say something, and people get offended? It's just taking that out, same message, convey it in a different
Yes.
way. I do think that you're right. I didn't see anyone typing that. That is, I think. I'm the man on time. Okay. My goodness, is smokkie sin vir my.
Tell us more about the challenges that you had as a franchise owner.
It was a while ago, so I think you've changed quite a bit of it.
Ja. Ons het baie by jou geleer, which was awesome.
Oh.
Jy was letterlik ons pioneer.
Yes, and the
That
reason I
comes-
don't have a franchise anymore is
Ek het 'n
I
baba gehad. Dit is sy 'n baba gehad, né?
and that was okay.
Dis net jou baba sê dit nie.
No, but there's, and it, I had a lot on my plate, and at some stage I realized, this is going to take more energy and more commitment from me as franchisee that I could, and I couldn't give it I couldn't give it at that moment. But I'm very convicted that this is needed. But I've never been able, even then, to bridge that gap from going, this is not a finishing school. I'm not teaching your child to be a girl in the 90s, in the 80s. That is not what I'm trying to do. I'm going to embrace what she is now, and we're going to talk their language. And some of it's not comfortable to us. And we have to bridge that. Because you have to get comfortable.
But still good values. It's not
So-
comfortable because of the language,
No,
but not the
I'm not
value.
saying you're compromising.
Yeah,
I'm saying you get comfortable with the way that they experience life, and then you slot these values into that world. And I struggled to get that across. When the girls were there, they loved it.
Yeah.
And the most difficult part for me was, because it was often a 1-day or a 3-day course, and they made such friendships, and they found a place of belonging. And because everybody had the same issues, they just loved this group. And then after 3 days, they had to say bye. And that actually broke me, because I was like, we've given them a place of belonging, and this could build so much confidence just having these friends.
May I ask, those kids that came through the rags,
Yes.
where are they now?
Iewers?
Hulle was en pa.
Listen to me.
Sy
Listen to
kon hulle
me.
nie hou nie, Gawie.
Okay. When I go, hey,
Sometimes I want to
you need
take
to
it.
advertise with me. I can go. The reason why you need to advertise in the Joy or the Juig is because here is 4 people. They've advertised. Their business grew 300%,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
they got that fold, or
Yes.
I can give you that. If people have gone through the school and you go, it was difficult to say it, and that they really loved it. Should we not go find 1 or 2 that goes, this is how when was this? How long was it ago?
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But I mean, it's not me. There are other girls in all of the other
So,
franchises.
and then go, what did this, and make a reel of how real it is with them and how they've changed, and what did it mean? Because that will convince other parents and kids to say, but okay, maybe not the kids, but parents, that's a bit sus. Low-key sus.
But I do think you're going to have more testimonials on your longer courses.
Because the bonding is en
the
dit
bonding
is hoekom
is
ons hart
there.
is eintlik vir die langer kursusse dat hulle
Hoe
'n
lank
langer
was jou
tyd
kursus?
saam met mekaar kan spandeer.
So 3 dae.
3 dae.
Oh,
So
okay.
so, but I do see a lot of the girls at school, at my kids' schools, and they come and greet me. But at the same time, I can see there's a seed planted,
Dit is presies
but
wat
it's
is.
not getting water.
Dis saad wat gesaai word.
Ja, maar dan moet watertjie nou weer gegooi word.
Dan moet watertjie
Ja,
gegooi word,
Maar dis
maar
dalk
nog
ek
steeds
dink wat
hy
julle dan moet doen is 'n kwartaalkampie waar hulle bymekaar kom en hulle kom eet saam. Friends of ours do homeschooling, and then on a Thursday night at a certain restaurant, they all get together, the homeschool parents, and then they do a finishing school with the kids. Yeah, I won't call it finishing school because
Starting
now I've
school.
heard starting school with the kids. And you, for that night, you paired up with a girl and a boy, and then they have to pull their chair out, put it back. They're being taught how to be a gentleman, whatever. So that's what they do. So that's the water. So what they've been taught, they now come and practice. And that might be also a nice thing, just because it's also a social thing, you know. So,
But the thing is, maybe there isn't a problem. Maybe they're just not. Maybe you're just not generating leads. It's a lead generation business.
education.
How many leads are you generating a month?
Yeah, Susan.
What do you have in
There's
place
no
to
evil
generate
here.
leads?
Well,
That's the
what is
thing.
lead
So
generation?
maybe we're talking about something that's not even a problem.
Yeah.
So there are a few things that could be fixed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just trying to find similar kind of. Have you looked at similar kinds of businesses worldwide? Lead generation simply means. Okay, can I stand up again?
Yeah.
Okay. Because maybe there isn't a problem. Maybe the like hobby. I mean, it's a needed skill. So you get traffic, leads, customers, right?
TLC.
TLC.
San
Okay.
hom Kom skryf hom nie.
So, what is this journey someone takes from here to here? So we all know what's traffic. You get your 3 types of traffic that I said now. Okay? It's you either build it up, you own it, or you pay for it. Easy enough to get traffic. Okay? What is the conversion from your traffic to leads? What was someone? So let's take your successful your students. What were they before they were a customer?
Someone's child.
Someone's child, but
Dis al, ek wil net sê dis almal van ons.
Before Jesus.
they weren't.
No,
They weren't.
yeah.
They weren't. They were a lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How did they
But
become?
they were not a leader yet.
But just to pause on something that's got nothing to do with what you're explaining, but what you're saying now, it's also there's not necessarily something wrong with your child, but that's
No,
why they have to
actually,
go here. I
fluffy.
think
But
that
that's-
perception is
Yeah.
easily created.
Yeah.
No.
And
But
it
I
is
think that's a
Sweeney.
very valid point.
Yeah,
You need
very.
to just make
Yeah.
sure that when we read, because that comes back to the offense.
Yeah.
So reading certain words. But what, are you saying something wrong is with my kid? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you say that I don't know how to?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's I so resonate
Yeah.
with that. Anyway, sorry. Lead, not a leader.
So hulle was nie 'n stoute kind vir die tyd nie. They're well balanced, well mannered, good parents child.
Okay.
Dankie Janine vir
Or
jou.
not.
Hobby back some.
So I didn't mean it in that way. What I meant is, in
know,
order
it
for
just went
you. Thank you, Harvey.
Ja, bly by. Dit was daar.
Before you are a customer,
Yeah.
okay, you must know about the business.
Yeah.
You must have heard, you somehow became a lead. What exactly is a lead? It is someone that fits the profile of your ideal customer, plus they know you, you know them, and you can contact them. That's a lead. Easy. Okay? So currently, we're sitting with traffic, thousands and thousands of traffic, because it's there. We know how to generate traffic. That's easy. We know exactly how to, here we're sitting with the traffic bosses.
Traffic cops.
Bosses, like literally.
Yeah.
Like, traffic is not a problem. It is
Converting them.
finding something here, okay, to qualify the traffic into leads. It is about understanding that random people don't become customers. We need to take them on this journey of, okay, and then from a lead to a customer, the conversion. So let's do the math. You've got 100 people, that's traffic. How many of them do you turn into a lead? Maybe 20. How many of them do you turn into a customer? Maybe 2. So now we've got our formula. Now we can go and see where is the problem. But the thing is, at the moment, we don't have a qualifier. And we don't have a conversion event. So here you need a qualifier, and here you need a conversion event. How do you qualify your traffic? Because for you to generate traffic is not a problem. But how do you qualify random people to become a lead? And what is your conversion event to convert them?
But surely you must first have a value proposition that
Yes,
stands the test of time.
Okay, but we spoke the whole morning about the value proposition.
Okay, so we kind of say, okay, we know how to do that.
Maybe
now
we have to word
maybe they do have a good value proposition. We don't know because it's not been tested. But the fact that she's got some successful people, we can say, but maybe you're just not getting leads. Okay? So here's the thing. If you are generating traffic and you have a qualifier and the qualifier is not generating leads, then yes, we've got a problem with our offer.
So you're saying maybe the value proposition is correct, okay?
We don't
Let's
know
test
that.
it. Let's put it in the market. Let's
Exactly.
let the customer say,
Before we change everything, let's do that.
So that's exactly what we do.
Well, we need to change some wording.
In front of the traffic. So here we are. We are in front of 1,000 people. We are going to test.
So what's my qualifier?
Who did us that?
What's the qualifier?
Your qualifier is
Yes.
something that turns someone into a lead. What's a lead?
Hoekom gaan hy nou 'n lead word? Jy moet nou Afrikaans praat.
Okay. Dit kan iets wees soos
Does he have certain attributes? What?
the one thing is you need to know what is your ideal a customer avatar, but you know that.
Okay, let's
It's
just
a mom.
use her.
Okay.
So she's got all her platforms, but obviously she's got younger people that don't have kids. Then she has moms that do have kids, and then she has tannies.
So, say for instance, very simple. Say for instance, Aletté goes live on Instagram. Oh, Yella, let's talk a little bit about this. Okay?
Okay.
What she's doing is she's sharing her heart. She's sharing what she believes.
She's
girls
using the
needs.
right words.
Okay? but the thing is,
Het jy al goed
Moenie
gekyk
my
al?
tannie noem nie.
Die tannie en die etiket inbring nie.
she's literally just giving value to the person out there that does not know. I'm a mom. I link in. I'm like, yeah, you understand how I feel about this. You understand what I want for my daughter. That's it. And then she says, okay, but I actually have a free something, like a free, teach your child confidence or how to talk to your daughter so you can have a heart-to-heart. It's just a one page. It's literally, it's free. You can
Having
have
difficult
it.
conversations.
Or what's one of the things that you do? Or confidence. Okay, say confidence. So one of the main things. Okay, it's free. Now say 100 people listened to your live and no one said, yes, I want it. Then no one wants it.
Yeah.
But say 100 people listened to your live and 20 people said, yes, I really want that. Okay, but it would be more, don't you think? It would be like 90. That's the thing. But we're not doing it. We don't have. So now we've qualified them. We've qualified that these people, number one, are moms. They have daughters, and they've got a problem with wanting their daughter's confidence. So now we know that. So now we can work with this 90 to become customers. Okay, so now we're going to create a pool of people. They're maybe not going to buy from you today.
Yeah.
Maybe their kids are still small, but they stay part of the pool for when they are ready. They're starting to be educated. They're moving. So as they listen to that, okay, so for you, your customers, where did they come from? How did they hear about you? Where did you find them?
In girls' school now. Because in Spa, they just drop.
They're just hungry. They want MSG. So
In girls' school, we advertised at schools, advertised on
Okay, and then when you advertised, what was the next step?
And then they contact me or I contact them and then they contact a friend and that friend. And usually it's a little groepie van kindertjies wat dan kom,
Okay, so you will agree with me, they reached out to you.
Yes.
You've got their contact details. So
Yes.
does that mean, so you were in front of a group of people that fits your profile. You didn't go to a boys' school. So that's the first thing. The traffic, they were still traffic. There's a room with 100 girls. You were in the right room, first of all. Okay?
Yeah.
And then from there, they had to do something. They had to take action. So generally, we don't want them to do the outreach. We want to make it easy for them.
Yeah.
But in your case, they contacted you. Okay, so they moved from being traffic to a lead. But you were talking to 100 girls. How many of them contacted? Maybe 50. Okay. Now,
No, but that was the issue, and I think that's why some of the franchisees are getting stuck.
Okay.
They are in front of the right audiences, and
Yeah.
they are talking, but the conversion rate's very low at the
okay,
moment.
but that's the thing. So then you can go and analyze where the problem is if you know that. So the conversion rate from traffic to leads or the conversion rate from leads to customers?
So maybe let's split it between. I think a lot of the franchisees are going out and they in front of their audiences, their local schools, their local mom
Okay.
WhatsApp groups, that type of thing. I think their conversion rate, they're struggling with that at the moment.
But we can train them
Yes.
because
It's very-
I had a lot of salespeople that, I mean, I'll give you a very good example. I started at Joy 9 years ago. There was somebody that sold 30,000 Rand a month. After training and 3 months, he went up to 300,000 Rand a month. So,
Sure.
but the same person. But
Sure.
but they keep on saying people don't use advertising. No, this is what you say. They say they don't have money. Everyone's saying they don't have money. Can you afford not to advertise because this is what we do for it? Okay. Why would you not want to make them feel that way? So just training the franchisees, just some skills on how to handle the objection bank, how to sell, what to say, how to say. That's a training skill you can do.
Yeah.
What
Which I think
she's
they
saying
need,
is,
yeah.
I'll bring you the people, because I promise you, a lead generation these days are a skill for people like her that brings you a lot of people. But now to convert, that's
Yeah.
something else. So she's not converted, she's given you leads, but how do we convert them? You have to then go through a process of how do I
Handle objections, like you said.
And
Yeah.
but that's a training skill we can give.
But
the
as
people.
an acceleration, if
Yeah.
you generate leads, it's all different ballgame because you have
It's
a
a different
platform.
program. Yeah.
So I think to actually get it moving, a lot of,
Yes.
as you said before, the lead generation needs to be based on your platform and from you. I do think you've got to,
But
when you go from lead to customer there, you're going to have to think about it because now you're a customer of someone else, not of Aletté. So
Yeah, but I wanted to go
her
into
brand
that.
has to come in there and she is the one that has to.
But do they buy into Aletté or do they buy into the principle of? Because didn't we say that's going to be the value proposition? If the value proposition starts becoming a person, then you're stuck.
Yes.
If the value proposition
Agreed.
is, there's a society out there that gives them the wrong thing. We want to speak first to them. Just send me whoever that's going to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have got trained, and it's going to be part of what she will then do after they've actually said yes and they agree. Then you can say, we've got trained people that will do this, because
Yeah.
now you take the focus off Aletté. Because my salespeople will come back and say, but I've done everything, and this guy is just not going. And I go, okay, well, what does he look like? What did he say? Oh, okay. Actually, he doesn't like you, he likes women. Jy gaan.
Yeah.
A jaar contract. It's just sometimes it's the person that sells. Okay,
Yeah.
so making you, there might be people that go, I will definitely not send my
Yeah.
girl to her, because it can't be a face.
No.
Yes, we can use your platform. But it can't be your face. I hope you agree with me. Okay.
No, I agree, but I just still want to come back to what you said. You're not getting leads. I'm in front of the people, but I'm not getting leads. And
The
coming
right
back
pool
to
of
what he
people.
said, okay, I'm in front of the right pool of people. Okay, now those people have to contact you. I used this example, I used this example the other day in my training. I'm building now at my house. I've got 3 quotes from carpet places. Okay, it's sitting there. So here's the thing. I want a carpet. Okay. Up until today, I haven't confirmed with one. Why? Because I'm too busy. But if one of them, and I'm telling you now, if you know any of them, if they call me today and they say, mevrou,
Ons net weet.
ek wil net gou weet, ek het volgende week 'n installeerder. The price I couldn't care less because it's more or less the same.
Ja.
The thing has literally been lying next to my desk.
Wow.
Okay,
Quite
I've
right.
been wanting to do it. That is where I spoke about in the beginning about systems. What is your system from getting in front of traffic, then generating leads doesn't mean you contact me. Generating leads means I talk to you, but before we leave, I've got your contact details, okay, so that I can follow up. And that is where the training comes in, but that's where your system. So there needs to be a specific system so that you can go when someone says, oh no, I didn't get leads. Okay, where were you? The school? How many people? And you need to be able, because at the end of the day, if you don't have the numbers, you cannot measure your business. You cannot say why it's not successful. If you don't know the conversion rates here between traffic and leads and customers, how are we even talking about this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's about going back, putting in the offer, but measuring it, understanding that, okay, I got so many, okay, so what is the follow-up? Oh, I never followed up with anyone. Or this is how I follow up. Or, and like Harvey said, now the training starts. I mean, for the people, like
On the
understanding.
system.
Ja.
Okay, so what is required of you, you know? But also, when I'm in front of traffic, I'm sure you've got the slides and things. What is presented there to turn them either, is there an offer? And, you know, so...
There will be one.
So that's the thing. So I'm thinking if you start from the top and then start to implement it at the bottom, because you are
start
the
from the
best
top.
person to, because you already have the traffic, to test what's working. So what would generally work is you've got 3 or 4 things to try and convert traffic to leads. And then you can do a conversion event. So what's a conversion event? A conversion event is doing a webinar, is doing an event for moms, anything like that. So you need a conversion event to connect to people so that I can buy into you.
Yeah.
So a conversion event would be,
A mom and daughter day breakfast.
where you're
or
the
something.
speaker. I do one in Cape Town, I do one in Pretoria. And then from there, you introduce your people, okay?
Or low-hanging fruit webinar.
and
They're all just logging in this
there-
class.
So what's going to happen? Okay, so you're going to have 100 people turned into a lead, okay? And then these leads are all coming to your event. Okay, so once they bought a ticket to your event, they're a lead, right? They're not a customer yet, they're buying a ticket. But say let's make it 500. Say for instance, you've got 500
Sit nog 'n nul by.
Dream bigger.
Okay. Will you agree with me that you are going to have a higher conversion rate if you see these people in person in a room and you do the talking? You're going to convert these moms to customers. So that is a conversion event. Okay, that's a lot of effort. It costs money. So let's see what is less effort that costs less money. Maybe a webinar.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you would have converted 80% in person. Maybe your webinar, not all of them show up. Maybe that's 40%, you know. But at least now you know. So next time you want to get customers, you know what to do next.
I do think a webinar could work for this.
Yes.
Yeah. So just to go back to, we keep going back to the value proposition.
Yeah, because it's important.
Yes, yeah. But one thing I thought about now was a lot of these skills that you learn here, if you want to think about, okay, we're thinking about long-term benefits, okay? Your child in the long term, but child in the short term. These kids deal with so much pressure.
Absolutely.
It is insane. But a lot of these skills, and that's why you said about rolling, your daughter rolling your eyes at you. So I agree with you. It's how I get her not to roll her eyes again, not because I trained her as good manners, but because she now has the tools to actually deal with those emotions, so she doesn't have to roll her eyes. And what I'm trying to say is a lot of these skills actually take pressure off them now. And that is something me as a parent will pay for. If I can teach my daughter how to cope with these things, when in their teenage lives, alles is woo,
Yeah.
But that's a brilliant thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we should ask, you should ask many or all your followers, what would be the one thing that you would like to change in your teenager? Okay?
That's a very good idea.
And they will give you
The
20
answers.
things to say, if I can only change their attitude, or if I can only change the way they don't want to do chores, or if I can only change. And then, because
Show gratitude,
guys,
feel
this is sales 101 from the
Yeah.
1800s,
But
okay?
this is
This is a
great.
hook. You call it a hook.
Absolutely.
So then you've got it, and you go, okay, but if I can teach you how to do that,
Yeah.
will you then do this?
Yeah.
Now, money is not the issue.
Yeah.
I have solved your
Yes.
problem.
Yeah.
And there's a long-term benefit.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
you're going to be a
But listen,
successful
they're looking at
adult.
short-term benefits right now. You can
Yes.
add that to say, and by the
Yes.
way, it will change the way that they're going to treat their people, their husband, their
Yeah.
Yeah.
and maybe the men will then pay for it because I'm joking. Anyway, so I do think that asking them, getting the things that the guys that's going to pay for this say, if you can change this, I'll give you all my money in the bank. Okay, 75 rand. So I will give you whatever I've got because you say you can help me with this. Okay.
And it's maybe not even
perfect.
help the parent
No.
with what they're struggling with. The hook is, how am I
Like,
helping the child?
yeah.
No,
Because I
not the
will
parent.
pay you.
Yeah.
I will pay you if you make her life
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
If she doesn't have to cope with not feeling...
En dit is guaranteed want jy was daar, jy het dit geteach, jy het gesien
Ja.
hoe daai kinders verander, hoe hulle soos
Ja.
ek is okay as ek
Daar's
hierdie goed
soveel
weet.
pressure op my
Daar is
kind.
soveel
As
pressure.
ek net kan leer vir hulle hoe om daarmee te deel.
Ja.
Okay. Hey, my child suffers a bit with anxiety because there's so much on them. Okay. Well, if I can help you.
Because how many adults do you hear in today's life that go,
That's got-
I'm not coping, and then I listen,
Ja.
ek ben nou mooi praat. Then sometimes I listen to some of the complaints and I'm like, it's not because life is too much, it's because you've never learned resilience. You've never learned how to cope with it.
Yeah.
And that is a skill that is really missing in our teenagers, because now we are going, sit net cotton
Ja,
wool om,
ja, ja.
shampies. Nee, die lewe gaan nie vir jou shampies
Okay,
nie.
maar kan ons nie ook net vir mekaar sê dat en dit was die een ding wat ek die takeaway from World Needs a Father. Dis great, nou ek sê weer eens, ek wil my dogter vir julle stuur en ek het nie eens een nie. Maar ons moet ook die ouers op 'n kursusie vat om te sê,
Ja.
kom ek leer julle hoe om te cope daarmee. Kom ek leer julle hoe om te deel met die ooggerol. Kom ek leer julle hoe want dis great. Nou, hierdie kind gaan deur hierdie ding, nou kom sy by die huis, die ma sê presies dieselfde. Sy is dalk die produk van haar ma.
Ja.
So nou gaan sy, mamma kyk. Jou oogies rol. Okay. So how do I do that? So maybe you have to change both. So you guys need to look holistically at both because now you train this princess, she gets home, but the stepmom is still there.
Ja.
And she doesn't know how to implement it at home.
Ja.
Absolutely.
Sure.
But I think I think like Harvey said, a big problem is the value proposition. So it's something you can work on.
What about the name?
But I just want to get
Dis
to
nog baie
something.
belangrik. Ek is just ons gaan terug luister op hierdie ding. Ons het so 'n stemmetjie wat hier vir die kant kom. What about the name? But the name, guys.
Okay, so what I do when I struggle with a value proposition of understanding, I literally go and, like Harvey said, do the research, ask the moms, but go to your customers that's been through it and ask them. So when I ask for a review, I don't ask for a review to tell me you're
What
good or
was
you're
wrong?
bad.
Yeah.
I ask them, where were you? How did you feel before you learned about girls' school? Okay. How was the journey and where are you now? So they will say things like, my daughter was bullied and I had all these what they feel. I was so worried. It made me feel like I'm a really bad mom and then meeting, whoever was just such a relief and it was so easy. Every time my daughter comes back and then where are they now? She can stand up for herself. So the transformation is very important, but we can't speak to the transformation if we don't understand what is the transformation. So getting that info from, like Harvey said, from asking people, but literally from all your last customers. So what I do is I literally, I make a form and I send it to people, to everyone. I've got that actually. And I ask them all these questions, so I get it. But here's something interesting. So we looked at what your people said. Because here's the thing, when an offer and the problem is missing each other, you have a problem. So let's quickly look at this.
The problem wins.
Yeah, you've got to, okay. So the barriers, which is very important, what Javi said. So this is the barrier. So too expensive, too busy, our schedule is full, I don't have time. It sounds nice, but okay. So giving them answers on how to answer that, but what is the deep desires? According to the questionnaire that you sent your franchise, according to their answers, but we want to get this also from the customer. Okay, so listen to what they said. They want their daughters to have confidence and a strong identity. They want to see their child thrive in friendship, school, and life. They don't want the child to go through the same emotional struggles they did. They are willing to invest if they can see clear long-term value. Where do we see those desires in your offer? I mean, where are you speaking to that transformation? The struggles. What are the struggles? What are they facing? Their daughters are facing bullying, low self-confidence. You speak about confidence. Body image issues. You speak about it. Or anxiety, what you said. They as mothers feel tired, time-starved and overwhelmed, financial stress. So when giving your message, you need to speak to these things because this is the problem. Like no one really cares what the inside of this is. They couldn't care less. Are you going to help my child overcome this issue? Are you going to help my child stand up for
Maar dis
herself
ook
when
wat
she's being
belangrik is
bullied?
om buitekant uit te vind
Yes.
by die ander jou potensiële kliënte,
sorry.
wat is dit wat jy leer?
Sorry, I'm not finished with the. I just sorry. I just want to tell you. Okay, so this is the info we got from your franchise. Now let's look at your actual page and what it says. If I can get it open. So what you are selling, because this is the thing. This is the problems. We just heard the problems, but what are we actually selling? People, and that's then once again coming back to, are we selling what people want? Because that is quite interesting. I was just reading.
Definitely is
So,
great.
Yeah, I was just reading it now, and it's so interesting to hear it from
Yeah, that's
this
good
perspective.
feedback.
You know, if I can just get it open.
So if you, while you open that, just as a short just insert, the content of this course, it does address all that. The content is actually brilliant.
Yes.
So it's making that connection between the content, getting the message of the content into the problem. So maak daai gewerk, Margriet.
Yeah, simply magic wand.
That
But while she's
my-
opening up, let's just quickly talk about the name.
Oh,
Okay. So
Aletté,
the
kan ons gewoon oor die naam praat?
The banner name is, all of this happens under the Confidence Company. And the company that I bought from Anri was Girls School. She created the name Girls School. And we have since learned that people think it's an actual school for girls, etc. So we changed it to GS. Because all the branding was already GS, and we only have the girls' school is only for the little girls. It's actually the course name for girls grade 1 to 3. Then we've got GS, which is Girls Smart for grade 4 to 6, Girls Smarter for 6 to 8, and Girls Savvy for the teenagers. So it's still GS, but it's
so
not.
those are the course names.
Okay, wat is
actually.
jou probleem
Under
met
the
dit?
comfort. No,
The girls' school
I think
part.
the girls' school part was a barrier because kids are like school,
Yeah, they don't want to go to
and then
school.
the word girl almost was a barrier as well. Just I'm not a girl, ek's amper groot
Yeah.
for all die tieners. But if you change it to GS, I think that's fine actually. And if you're concentrating on confidence company,
Yeah.
then
Can I
it's,
quickly read to you according to your landing page?
Ooh,
So we just
She's like,
that
when
we
did I read it
analyzed.
last?
Okay. So we just analyze what people want.
Yeah.
yes.
Now we analyze what does your page say.
Yes.
Okay, so Girls School aims to
Gonna say
empower
etiquette.
preteen girls with confidence, self-love, and essential skills. Okay, that's beautiful. So it helps girls to understand and embrace their unique inner and outer beauty, develop good posture, and make positive first impressions. I'm laughing now because No one said, I want my child to have good posture.
Ja.
Yes, we all do,
Ja.
but that's not the emotional
Ja.
reason.
Waar sien jy daai sien dit gaan
Ek
my
dink jy
dit?
slaan nou die spyker
Nee,
op die kop.
Listen, yeah.
Ons het net
Learn-
20
Ek voel 'n
minute.
rebrand coming up.
Learn personal
help us.
care and hygiene practices. Where did people say, oh, I want my child to know how? We want that,
Yeah.
but we don't know. So the thing is, you're selling them things they don't know they need.
Yeah.
So
But
we need to
also-
sell them what they need and then give them what we
Yeah.
sell them what they want
The
and give
bonus,
them what
yeah.
they need.
Maar dis ook die angeldeel, because I
Yes.
better be able to
Okay.
teach my kids good hygiene. Jessie, want anders
Ja, ek weet
Ja,
ja.
maar tog, daar is sekere kinders wat ek nie eens sal optel nie.
Ja, maar ons
Want
gaan
hulle kom
nou
dan
you're going to teach it, but you're not going to highlight it.
Yeah. So
Ja,
the thing
what you
is,
say.
we need to highlight
Okay.
we need to speak to the transformation. Teaching them personal hygiene has nothing to do with the transformation. So in your messaging, you have to focus on what is the transformation. And then everything with the value thing, that becomes that. The dream outcome is the transformation. Times the likelihood of success is the reviews about the transformation. Not about, I learned to wash myself and things like that. Okay, and you take away the difficulty of the things.
Goed, jy gaan vir my daai sê alles in Afrikaans en dan
Ja.
gaan ons om ChatGPT
But I
en
think
dan
you
gaan ons dit
summarized
uitfigure.
it perfectly.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It
Yeah.
is very good. We have very little time left.
Okay.
And I want to, and we are definitely, and we'll tell the viewer what is going to come from this and what we actually want from the viewer at a next stage. But what I want to say is our second leg of the confidence company is the confidence foundation. Because now this is all good and well for people who can afford girls' school, but every girl needs this. Every girl, every human being needs to have that dignity, how to stand up in front of people, how to talk. I mean, we want the future leaders. The masses of people can actually not afford it. So we have a foundation. We have everything in place according to BEE points and Article 18A certificate. So, and we know that there are companies that has that social responsibility and they have to actually give money towards something like this. So my next 5-minute challenge is, how do I get this in front of that company who says, I've got the money? Once again, training the leaders and the employees and the employers of tomorrow who desperately needs this. We still have some parenting that involves this where, if I have to choose between bread, food on the table and something like this, it's not a difficult choice, but to give them that opportunity. So any thoughts on how to get this in front of the right people? The right,
It's easy.
sekerlik.
So you
Hence the
need
question.
to you need to first
boekie.
nee, my vrou het vanoggend gesê wat om te sê. So I think you need to look at women empowered businesses,
Ja.
which there's
First
a
for
lot
women.
of, okay? There's a lot of
Just for women, het julle gehoor, ons praat van julle. Ons gee vir julle baie blootstelling hier.
but that's and I'll get to why that's a really good suggestion. But there's a very good friend of ours. She's got a brilliant company. She's been Women of the Year in multiple countries.
Wow.
Okay,
Jy
women
weet nie van
owned.
my praat so voor. Dis ongemaklik vir my.
Aletté, so hierdie vrou, incredible, single vrou wat hierdie amazing goed doen, but she's got a women empowered business. Okay, now she's got a really big business. 1% of what they make, they have to give away to training. But they need a BE status to do that. But that we can always do through something like JBS or Joseph Business School or something like that, where we can actually connect it and then see how they can use it because they raise entrepreneurs. That's their whole thing. So you get a BE status, so those people give, and then that money can then come to an institute like this, the Confident Institute. So I think to focus on women-owned companies that sees the value in empowering women and then go, listen, And if you've gone through this, I need you to come see me when you finish with school because this is, and there's value in them for finishing what they've done, but then you have to do the 5-year course or whatever the case may be. You hear what I'm saying? There's a thing to that. So I think it's very easy because the money is out there.
Yeah.
There's a pot of money that says we are here to raise entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
There's a pot of money that says we have to educate by law. We have to give 1% of what we do give away. So give me just 0.5% of this, and then we will show you what we can do. And by the way, we will transform communities because we've got strong women that know their value, but that's not there to overpower, but rather to enhance. And I think that is definitely doable. So I'm not really worried about that. That don't need to be a 5-minute conversation. That's a 2-minute conversation because there's many strong women like you out there that own spas and stuff, and they. Just joking. that owns businesses that want to do this.
Yeah.
And like I say, I think if we speak to the people like the JBS guys that know the structure.
Please tell us a little bit more about JBS quickly.
Joseph Business School is a school that helps entrepreneurs to enhance their skills to run a business. Because we need entrepreneurs in South Africa. And they are, some of them funded and some of them not. It's about 60 grand to go through it. And they actually indicated already that they want to be part of the process to say, okay, well, if there's people that want to do this, how do we be part of that? And they then give the skills to people to run a business. Everyday skills that you need.
Oh, look.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Margriet, what are you working out there? Are you doing a chat?
No. I'm just saying. No, I really think that what I've determined through this research is that your offer is not speaking to the transformation.
Yeah. Okay.
And you've got a great product, but it's just about reframing. And then maybe the name. Maybe the name.
Why are you not using the confident?
Yeah, confidence.
Like Confident Academy, Confident Institute or something. Why are you not doing that? Be confident. Everyone wants a confident
very
kid.
nice.
And it's not offensive.
It's not offensive. It doesn't have
it is the company. The courses are GS.
But why? If you can say to somebody, hey, do you want to become a CA? Yeah, of course. A Confident Academy.
Confidence company,
whatever. You know, it's
confidence builder.
Confidence is not offensive.
No,
because
the
girl,
confidence guy.
GS, girl, wat jy sê is nogals waar. I'm not a girl anymore. There's a lot of, is it a girl, is it a convent?
Yeah,
but there's
gives
also,
you that.
it's also that thing. Yeah.
Confidence versus confidence.
It does give you that vibe.
It creates a barrier which you just don't
Yeah.
want.
That's very true, and I think it's so valuable that you're saying it because it does create that barrier. And that is where it comes in, where
So you didn't want to hear that.
Anders wat
but that's why you now become kind of where the mom becomes in competition because what are you going to
teach me?
It sounds a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it, but it's just for the modern world. It could be one of two things. It's got that traditional feel to it, but on the other side, maybe I want my child to be world-wise, and I don't want them to be. I mean, it's very much why would one parent send their child to a girls-only school and other one not? Because we've got different opinions of what I want for my child, and having it at a girls' school gives like, okay, I fall in this category. But what about this mom? This mom's going to be like.
I actually don't want them to go, and my kid don't want to be in a girls' school. So listen, this is just a very good learning point actually for anyone that owns a business, that sometimes what we've done up to now, we thought, okay, but that is maybe it's not working, and maybe you just need to pause. Maybe you just have, if there's 4 people around the table and 3 say, I think you need to change it. It's not great to hear. And if you've got a business and 6 people around a table of 7 have said, listen, I think you need to change it, you need to listen to the people and just say, I don't like this, but I can't hear what you say. So it's not maybe what you want to hear, but it's maybe what needs to happen.
But we can't say that for sure without proper research.
Testing it,
without maybe going to your audience and asking them and do it like a poll, just a simple poll. Would you rather enroll your daughter in the confidence
You don't have to
Go?
do the poll a little.
No, would you rather, but do it on Instagram just as a test, because we can think out all these things and then the world
So my
says,
little-
no, we want the girls' school, you know? We
My
don't know.
little sample was my girls, so they've done it. They've done the course many
Hulle
times. They
staan op teen
love
bullies
it.
like this. Ek
Ja,
wil
ja,
net sê,
they do.
run the
They
show.
do. Dit is baie goed. Dit is flippend goed vir hulle.
Ja.
En ek is 'n goeie ma. But so they were like little sales ladies. Like, okay, but join me this holidays. Let's do girls' school. And the girls were like, do what? Girls' school. And I could see they were like, wag 'n bietjie, dit klink nie so. It's not as boring as it sounds.
When you have to sell that, that's not as boring, whatever, maybe.
Yes.
But so no, I agree. But just coming to surveys, also very important point. I do spark controversy when I say this, because I don't believe to ask negative questions. Okay, so sorry, I'm not interested. What did you not like about what I've done? Okay, nou ek weet nie of jy dit doen met jou goed en vir die mense sê, so wat het jy nie van gehou vandag nie? Okay, when you want feedback. No, what is it that we did well? Because I spoke to a guy in they've got schools in Japan, because we wanted to open a school in Somerset West, and we'll still do it. Big in Japan, okay?
Just check.
Okay, there's so many things I want to say now. Okay,
They're
not that big in Japan, but they're big in Japan. Anyway, so he said, you know what that I saw in your school, because he was a teacher here for a while and then went back there. He says, you know what's the difference between your country and ours? You look at what the learners are really struggling with, and you give them extra classes to be mediocre. In Japan, we see who are the guys that's excelling in what they do. We give them extra classes so that they're absolutely brilliant in what they do. Isn't that just a little bit of a difference in looking at things? We're training a lot of mediocre people, okay? They're training people that will be, in their field, the leader. So we must also just be, when you ask the question, what did we do bad? Okay, we're going to do it a bit better. No. What did we do well? Because that we'll be the best in that.
Wow, that's brilliant.
That's a brilliant sales
That
pitch
is.
as well, because my kids are already confident, but then they should come, because then they'll be absolutely top of the class in confidence.
You want them to stand out. That's the thing, not be
And
mediocre.
also, what? Okay, so sorry. On the other point, before my daughter went to grade 4, there was this woman that did a class, prepare her for grade 4. So it's also like, prepare her so that she can easily do it. So prepare, because your younger girls, prepare them to handle high school and the high school pressure.
Absolutely. This is what we do, is to get them ready for high school. And then our heart is, we actually have the whole concept laid down to have a school leaving course. Like how to flip and change a tire, how to set up a budget, how to prepare yourself for life, how to do your taxes.
But I was nogal thinking about that as well. If you can incorporate things like that, like it's not just like body image and that. It's a little bit of entrepreneurship, some financial literacy. I would love it if someone can teach my daughters financial literacy.
So at my boys' school,
It's there, Money Savvy, just behind you, just saying Money Savvy.
So in my boys' school, they had gardening school, and they got some other tire company, can't remember what it was. Say Tiger Wheel or something. They came to the school. How do I change a tire? How do I do that? How do I do? And I'm like, wow, oh my word, fantastic. Okay, so my kids know, but and they were so full of. And it wasn't just that. How do I change a washer in a tap? How do things that I every day can
change a
do.
Plug.
But okay, just one last thing that still doesn't sit right with me. Yes, and I think it's something that you brought up. It's the fact that what is the value behind being a woman? Because in my opinion, I am independent. And I do not submit.
Okay, that's unbiblical. It's not okay.
Ek weet waar om stil te bly.
So here's the thing. You can't try to be the one or the other. Okay. So if if that is what it is, then it fits in with girls' school, but then it's not for everyone.
What is it like to submit?
No.
Where are we going with this conversation?
But the thing is, you want a well-rounded woman.
Yeah.
What is a well-rounded woman, in your opinion?
Yeah. It is the confident one who can be independent. I mean, absolutely. I'm independent, but I also submit to my husband because I'm in a biblical marriage. But you have to be able to stand up for yourself. You have to have a voice and know that your voice matters.
But before you can even get there, okay, you need to be grounded in a certain few things before you even get to submit, because you can't submit if there's certain things that are not in place. And this is where that fits in, right?
Yeah.
Because being savvy and money and all of that says that I'm independent. I'm not waiting for somebody to teach me how to do that. I'm independent, okay? So my wife, if you've ever met her, hugely independent. She told me from the start independent. Now she doesn't know how to change the TV, and she doesn't want to, okay, because I'm there. So it's just but she brings value into our house that was core values. The other things we can now build on top of that, okay? And she doesn't roll her eyes when I say something. I'm joking. No, so this, but you understand what I'm saying? So this, I think, brings that foundation.
But you've said something important now.
Okay. Dit gebeur hier baie nie.
You need to be able to explain exactly, I'm focusing on these core values.
That's the
Submission
thing.
is not going to be part of this course, Aletté.
No, it's not. Oh my word.
Because that is exactly, when you start introducing very, to a large extent, controversial things, and maybe things that people have very strong opinions about.
Yeah.
That's when I don't trust
Yeah.
the person. I'm not saying I don't trust you, but that's when I'm going to go, I'm not sending you because I am not sure you're going to teach them things that I agree with.
Yeah.
So these core values have to be so well explained. This is what I'm teaching them. And then, ons hoef nie al hierdie ander goed by te sit nie. That child has got the core values. They'll figure out when I'm married and I love my husband.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to respect him. I'll be as independent as I can, but we're gonna
But I
have
have
this
to
awesome
value
amazing
myself before I can even do that, and that's part of it. So that core values will, when they look at it, they will go, okay, but I need that as well. It's non-controversial.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, the way you say
That's not
it.
this person. That is not this company's job.
Yeah. Good.
Guys, this has been incredibly valuable. I just wrote down here because you said this course is because something, and I said because we're going to bring it in somewhere. Do this course because it's going to change your life forever. I have to just put in here that it has always been... Yeah! I said my foot there. It's an independent woman. Our heart has always been from the start to not only focus on girls. We want to get girls' school going, or the confidence company with the female gender going, and then we will definitely develop something for boys as well, because I mean it's a human being. They need skills. We have to educate,
But
edify,
why is there
empower.
something there? Why not just focus on the girls and on the
Because
moms?
it's not the same as what they give. It's different, and it's a different kind of skill.
Let us then go teach them to teach your stuff.
Let's do that. I don't care. We just
Because
need
I've
to
got a
educate the
platform.
whole world. We want to
But we'll do
empower
that.
everybody.
And we're going to do that. And we're still going to get the people to have values in the business as well, so that we
have
can
to.
give service levels. So we'll do that.
We'll definitely do
But
that.
the message is, it's the confidence company. We're starting out with girls. It's not this feminist thing.
Confidence.
It's not a feminist thing. I have to
That's
say,
important.
we would not just chose we're not those people. We want to
She
raise
has a
up
lot of boys.
the next generation. I do. And every time they do the Mark Drew, I'm such
amazing
a
boys.
freaking guy school, boys school, whatever it's going to be. Dapper.
Let's call it Boys Town.
Dapper.
Can I just say something?
Boys
Can
Town.
Aletté, I just want to say something to you.
Yes.
I bought into today and to sit here with you for one reason and one reason only. Because I look at your children and the values that they carry, and I go, you know what? The world will be a better place if they carry those values. So whatever you've done, I think there is a, and the same with you. I really, your children it's so. I look at them and I go, I want my kids to be with children like that. So I think that is also important. You guys, I won't say cracked it because none of us have, but you've got some certain values there that I go, the world will be a better place when we do that.
Amen. Dankie julle, so valuable. The audience will know what's going to come very soon. And it's
Do we
I've
know
learned.
what's
We
gonna come?
No. You will also know very. You'll see on the group.
WhatsApp groepie.
You'll know what's going to come soon. Maar dankie vir julle value. Ek het so baie geleer en ek glo elkeen wat gekyk het iets vir hulle besigheid hier uitgehaal, want it is applicable to everyone. It is applicable. Even Spaar.
Dit is. Ons gaan spaar.
En jou jeugtydskrif is nou in Spaar, want hy was nie.
julle.
So alles gebeur, alles werk ten goeie uit. Julle is incredible people. Ek kon nie vir 'n beter panel gevra het om vandag hier te wees nie. Dit was so valuable. Give yourselves a hand.
Great.
Well done.